Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to the Moonbase 2 pre-show. We got me, Andy, and Big D here. Hey, Big D.
Hey, dude. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, all right.
Ready for Crimblemas, I hope?
More or less.
More or less. Good enough.
Yeah.
We're in pre-show at the moment, as usual. You've got some new cheapy friends by you this time round, so you don't need to worry about getting jealous of Blitzwing eating or Cat Ravage dancing. You've just got Blitzwing and Devastator and Megatron there.
I like this. This is, gosh, what's Astro Train doing in the corner there? My word.
He's giving the man kisses. Aggressive kissing. What do you mean? So I kiss people too. That's why I'm not allowed outside anymore.
I was going to say, that explains a lot.
Yeah. Kissing with his train teeth. Yeah, but what we'll be doing, obviously, I'll be going over this, obviously, a second time once the recording starts properly for the podcast. We'll be covering the second half of Cybertron. I'm really glad we split this up because there's still a fucking lot of Cybertron to cover.
I know. When you sent me the list, I was like, oh my lord.
I didn't realize Cybertron was so big. Big toy line. And that's not even including, like, repaints. These are, like, unique molds.
This is quite an impressive lineup, in all fairness.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that they did a lot.
They did.
And it's also weird just how much of it didn't get as many repaints, to be fair, which we noticed last week. It was just like, wow. They didn't repaint this or that. Wow.
Very odd. Oh, Mr. White's here. Hi, Mr. White. How's it going?
Hey, dude.
I should probably put the assets in front of Astro Train because Astro Train is covering up the Mr. White's kind message. I'm going to type into chat just so I can make sure that Astro Train is behind the text. Yo, just so I can see. No, Astro Train's still in front of it. Which one is Astro Train? That's Astro Train. There we go. There we go. I've sorted it out. I'm very smart. It's okay. I don't mind. That's fair. But it's just for the people in the future who might want to see what the chat has said.
Yeah.
You know, Astro Train's bloody carcass of a human that he's devouring on, shouldn't cover everything. I grabbed a load of the GIFs, so I've got a nice little repertoire of fun little GIFs I'll be adding to the show every now and again just to swap things around.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. White, have you gotten around to watching his wonderful Johnny Mnemonic video yet? The first
Not yet,
half?
no. I want someone to send me a direct link. Send me a direct link.
But Graf put it up in a direct link.
The what?
Graf put up a direct link.
Where?
Graf, he posted in the Fluff and Hammer.
Whereabouts in the Fluff and Hammer?
Main page.
In general? I didn't see it.
He put it in the Discord.
Yeah, I didn't see it when it was on the Discord. I don't often use, Discord, so... Or at least I don't troll through, the endless, general conversations and stuff like that. I just kind of turn on, see if anyone's around, see if anyone's posted on my Discord, and then turn it off.
Fair. Yeah.
That's how I usually use Discord. I ain't trolling. I'm not reading through everybody's stuff. Ain't no way, unless I'm part of it. All right, we should probably get on with the Poopcast. Hello, Crab Boy. Welcome.
Howdy.
Right, let's... Oh, I'll need to turn on website button 2. Where's website? No, that's Ravage. There we go. Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, everything's set up. Okay, we're going to play the music and talk about some fucking Galaxy Force. Let's go.
Woohoo.
Music.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decayed Andy. I'm joined once again by Big Swinging D. Hey, Big D.
Evening, bud. How you doing?
Not too bad. This will be the last show of 2024 because, well, I don't want to do a show right after Christmas. And let's be honest, shockingly, there is a little bit of news to talk about with the reveal of the, who was it, Long Haul and... Hook, thank you. Yeah, with the reveal of those two, there is actually something to talk about, but that can be saved till next year. There's no rush for it, And I could do with a week off. I'm not going to say no to like one show off.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm usually pretty consistent. And we've also got the rest of Cybertron. I almost said Cyberverse. Cybertron. Cyberverse is a different show and multiple toy lines. So we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, we got the rest of Cybertron and Galaxy Force to kind of cover today. I was saying with Big D before we hit the record button for the podcast side of things, and we said on the live stream that the line is pretty big. So it's just as well we split it in half. It's a huge line. I don't know what we will cover after Cybertron. It'll probably be Chug. And that'll be over multiple parts, because I'll go from like classics into Universe, into Reveal the Shield. In what came after Reveal the Shield?
Universe 2.0.
Was that? No, that was before Reveal the Shield. It was Universe 2.0. Yeah. And then it was Reveal
You're
the
right,
Shield,
it was.
I think.
Yeah, because Universe was mainly the stuff that came between Cybertron and Classics.
That's right, yeah.
And had a lot of the weird exclusive exclusive stuff, which is really hard to get outside of the States.
That's right.
That's a good point, yeah.
I can't remember what happened after Reveal the Shield. I don't think it jumped then to... Maybe it jumped then to Combiner Wars?
No, Combiner Wars.
I want to say there was stuff that happened between then.
Yeah, because you had Power Core Combiners.
Yeah.
That were about 2011-ish.
Which were kind of an anomaly. They weren't really part of the Chug line, because they didn't really fit into anything. They just existed. I can't remember. That's for a future Andy problem to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're going to be kicking off, as usual. We'll start off with Scouts, then Deluxes, then Voyagers and Ultras, and then the two leaders last. So I missed off this guy last time because I clicked on the little X and closed the button, the tab for him, and couldn't remember what he was called. We're starting with Recluse, who is a Cybertron only toy. He is a... What is he? Is he like a Komodo dragon of some sort, or a gecko? No, I think more a Komodo dragon kind of look to him. It's like a Komodo dragon if it was done for like 4+ toy line. Like, it's a very happy Komodo dragon. It's a very non-threatening, non-dangerous Komodo dragon that also seems to be wearing a little hat on its head. Like an Aztec hat, which is clearly his weapon. The head is definitely designed a little bit like a Brachiosaurus, like those not soft play toys, those really hard plastic dinosaur toys, and it's like, this is Brachiosaurus. Look how innocent and dopey it looks. So yeah, I guess you could count that as a negative. I've never had this figure. Big D, have you rocked this boy?
You know what? As I've been looking at it, I keep thinking, I'm sure I've had this figure, because the weapon, the way that activates, is very familiar to me, but for the life of me, I can't be certain. And all my Cybertron stuff is kind of boxed away. Yeah, but
because he's a scout, you might have had him and just forgot about him just because he's a small boy and got lost in the shuffle. Mr. White says he's a Komodo dragon with a bit of a frilled lizard in there. Yeah, I can kind of see it. I kind of get it. Yeah, kind of get you. I really like the head design. Reminds me a little bit of Gildart from Beast Wars Neo, just because of the center horn in the center of his robot head. Then he's got an underslung jaw as well, very orky as well, which I can appreciate.
Yeah.
What do you think of the robot mode?
I like the asymmetrical nature of the legs, especially. That I do like. That's quite a nifty little touch that they've done there.
Does he have his like Komodo back dragon legs on only one of his robot legs? Because it looks like they're just there.
I think so, yeah, because the legs form the bottom and top of his tail.
Yeah.
So the legs are just on the bottom half on one set of legs. And then the other side has like the spiked head of his tail on the foot, and all the spines that go on the side. It's a fun little look to him. To be fair, it's different and it's interesting. And as we said before, that makes it That's been kind of like a hallmark of Cybertron Live. But it's weird and it's different and it looks just interesting. Yeah.
See, I would throw because those legs are there just on the front and clearly the back of one leg. It throws off the design a little bit and makes it feel like an older design. It makes it look and feel. I can't say feel because I've never held it, but visually it looks a bit more like an awkward Fusor figure, like Terrogator or whatever his name was.
Because they don't kind of fold away in any way. They don't hide.
Yeah.
Normally, you at least get some attempt to hide the legs or incorporate them into the robot mode in some form. But because it's just two legs hanging off the side of his hip on one side, it does. I do get what you're saying about unbalancing.
It's a shame because generally I like it. It's just those legs really are not in a great position, unfortunately.
No, but for this price point, at a Scout scale, I can understand why it's like it is, and monetary wise, I get as we said before. Yeah, and we've said before, I'd rather them try something different and interesting than make something that is bland and doesn't take any risks. So.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they gave him a deluxe price point, if they would have done something similar, but then had the budget to finagle the legs around and do something a bit more,
maybe
hiding them or do something with them. Because, like I say, it's a little bit awkward. But I generally like the color scheme. I like generally the asymmetrical design, apart from those legs. And I love the head. It's just I don't know. I mean, the Cyberplanet key force chip thing. It's fine, you know. It's for the size. It's about right.
It works better in the beast mode. I think robot mode. I'm not sure
what does he do in beast mode. What is that?
Well, it gives him like best way I can explain. It gives him like battle horns.
Are they battle horns? Are they wings?
Or blades. Well, wings, blades. Kind of. I think it's a bit of an either-or situation, to be honest. I'd lean towards blades. To be fair, because I've seen plenty of sci-fi and manga where you have a big beastie that has blades sticking out the sides of its torso. So,
sure.
Which again, it's got a bit of interest to it. It's a bit clunky because of how it's incorporated, sure, but I think it works in beast mode, not so much in robot mode because. I'm not sure what it's doing.
No, it's just stuck on his back for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can actually hold it or not.
He must be able to. It'd be crazy if he couldn't hold it. Crazy. Because what a weird thing if he couldn't hold it as some sort of weapon. The description on the thing says they are blades for the weapon. Apparently they are blades.
It's a bladed shield. Okay.
I guess, yeah, one of those things. The figure wasn't repainted, so he was only done here the one time and then never, ever touched. For better or for worse, I suppose. It's unique. It's different. It harkens back to the Beast Wars era. I think there are better scouts we talked about last time, but we'll only kind of mush the ones together and talk about them in a scale here because I can't remember last time round. The next one we had was Armorhide, who I do remember having, and there are things about this one I like, but generally it's kind of a mid to low range kind of figure. Is how I remember him. So he is a truck. Like he looks like a proper truck, like a modern day truck, rather than an Optimus Prime kind of truck without a trailer. He turns into a very square, round boy. This is again Scout size, and then I do think his Cyberplanet key is mostly kind of fun, but also hampers the design of the robot mode, which is you put a key into his back, his grill for his truck mode, which is his whole chest flips up, and he has 8 missiles that just like fire out from his entire torso.
That's borderline terrifying, to be honest. That's a lot of firepower for a little dude.
Yeah, it's cool, but it does definitely hamper what you can do with the figure in terms of like the transformation. He is the most box robot for the Cybertron line, probably, as he is just a square with arms and legs and a little head. The transformation wasn't really that crazy either. The head just kind of folds back. His head's on a ball joint. You just kind of push it down. Not even down. You just like push it backwards, and that's it done.
Yeah.
The legs kind of compress nicely into the top of the cab mode, which is quite nice. But then the arms just kind of lazily fold backwards. So I think his most successful thing is the vehicle mode looks good. The robot mode is a little bad, and the Cyber Planet key is fine. The Cyber Planet key kind of awkwardly works in vehicle mode, almost like a mask vehicle from back in the day.
Yeah.
Almost.
Big mask vibes from that.
Yeah.
One of the things I do quite like is how he actually has a separate blaster that forms like a tow cable in the truck, but then actually looks like it forms a pretty decent rifle for the robot, which is kind of a novelty, to be honest.
It was an okay rifle. The way that it pegs in is it has a square peg. If you look at the vehicle mode, it's got a square peg which it kind of pins between the two hands. When they kind of clamp shut, the square kind of shunts in there rather than using the round peg, which is kind of odd because he does have just like a 5mm peg as well for the hands. So it's it's okay. It's not crazy. There's no firing missile gimmicks or anything like that because you have the missiles in his chest. I think this guy... Oh, no, this guy got used a couple of times. He was used in BotCon 2007 for Huffer.
It's funny, because when I saw his head sculpt and his general boxiness, I thought, that'd make a good Huffer on the squad. And I was like, oh, he did make a good Huffer.
I think he makes a lot better Huffer than he does an Armorhide. The yellow and the blues on him really make him pop a lot more. They've even added a little Tampo Cybertron wrecking service, which is quite nice onto his side. And then we have Movie Armorhide, which is just, what if he was black and grey? So.
Yeah, I do think you're right. Huffer makes this mold shine because just because you have so much contrast with the yellow and the blue as opposed to just blue and silvery white or all black, yellow stripes.
Do you think Armorhide would be better if they did some painting, like if he wasn't just blue and white, if he was blue and another color, and that made his chest a little bit more vibrant than just grey? Because I really think that throws him off.
Yeah, I think that would have helped him a lot, as is all that. I mean, to be fair, they've used metallic blue on most of the cab, which is not unwelcome.
It's not metallic blue.
It's not.
No, I have this toy. It's not metallic blue.
Okay.
If there is a fleck in there, if there is like a little shine to it, it's not much. It's just pretty much a flat blue, from what I remember.
Fair enough. But yeah, it just needed something. That grill especially being that flat grey plastic. And the thing is, there is paint on the grill. They painted the lights.
Yeah.
But it's just... I mean, maybe
it's a lot of grey.
Even just a wash over the grill area to darken that up, to make the detail stand out a bit more, to give it a little bit of a pop to it would probably help it a lot. But as is, that chest is just, it's actually distracting because it is so,
so unpainted and grey. And Huffer's actually it's yellow, but they've got a blue bar across it and a bit of silver in there as well. So there's like at least two or more extra colors over quite a large area of it, rather than it just being yellow. Because if it was done in the same way that Armorhide's was, and it was just primarily yellow, and the lights were done, it wouldn't look that impressive or that interesting visually. No. It also helps that he has silver paint on his forearms as well, which so his arms just aren't black. They've got a little bit of pop to them too, which is nice.
Yeah.
And Mr. White says, surprised they never did an Optimus repaint and just did some sort of oversized matrix for the chest. That would have been funny. I would have laughed if they did that. You could have probably gotten away with calling him Orion Pax, maybe.
Yeah, that that actually does surprise me that they didn't do that,
Yeah.
especially for Collectors Club. That seems like an obvious one for him to take a swing at.
Because I think you could probably get away with the head sculpt being close enough to Orion Pax. Close
I
enough?
think so.
I'd say so.
And that sort of truck makes sense for the dock worker transport vibe they went with for PAX. So
yeah. Not perfect, but it's it's good enough, I would say.
Yeah.
So Armorhide, better or worse than the Komodo dude?
I want to say he's a functionally better figure, but he's just a bit more boring.
Yeah, because we're not going to compare Huffer because we're doing the Cybertron line, so it has to just be standard Armorhide. I would agree. I think the Komodo Dragon dude Recluse looks better, but this is more functional.
But I think Recluse would probably take it because he just looks more interesting.
Yes, yeah, it's not a huge leap up, but I'd say just he's more interesting, and usually the rule of cool is pretty helpful for a lot of things, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, Armorhide, don't get me wrong, he has a chest full of missiles. That butters a lot of biscuits, but
a lot of biscuits.
But sadly, he is just competent.
Now we got Hardtop next, who I would say is one. I would say is one of the best Cybertron exclusive figures. Not including, obviously, the other ones that were in the TV show. When I say the Cybertron exclusive, I mean because he wasn't in the TV show. I have Hardtop. I think he's really fun. His color scheme's a bit boring, but there is a better version of him as well. He goes from a robot mode to a dune buggy with a machine gun, and the Cyberplanet key makes the machine gun into a rifle, which I guess has some practical use, Machine gun for mid-range, and then the big elephant gun thing for long-range. That makes sense, I suppose.
Yeah.
Vehicle mode is competent enough for a dune buggy thing. It's not perfect, but it's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And the robot mode's background character vibes, I would say. But not bad background character. Like, he looks interesting enough. He's detailed enough to be more irritating for an animator to draw. But but he's not interesting enough to be a foreground character either. He's in that kind of weird middle ground.
He's perfect grunt fodder.
Yes, yeah. And yet, again, not if you're trying to draw him, I suppose. He got reused twice. He gets done into Swindle, which is his other variant, which is the one I also have. And I think this is the best version because he's yellow and brown and army camo green.
Yeah, but that's certainly a Cadian green tone.
I was trying to think of the GW paint and I couldn't, to be honest. It's that kind of like greenish brown.
Cadian green, Castellan green.
Yeah, greeny brown like you see army overalls. And they also did movie Hardtop, which is what if he was gray and army green? And mostly
this
gray.
Is the version I have. This is the version I have, mainly because, it was when I was kind of getting back into collecting. And he was in the 2-pack, I think, with... he was in the 2-pack with the repaint of Energon Skyblast, the little dude.
Okay.
For Jet, the Jetfire cosplayer.
Right.
I think that's right. Anyway, yeah. But, yeah, it's a nice figure to have in the collection,
Yeah.
And even if this is a bit of probably the most boring of the 3 color schemes, it's a nice laid out color scheme. It's got some fun stuff like the little hazard stripes they've put over it. The Sector 7.5 they're going for across this era of the movie toys. That slightly bluish, greenish grey body color does think does work for the design, and then with that camera green as well, it's fun. Nice bits of yellow spots.
I just can't get away with any of these 2007 repaints. To me, they're all just boring, flat, very dull, very uninspired vehicle design.
They are more than a little bit of that, unfortunately. Yeah. But it was nice that the figure were at least available again.
Yeah, for the third time, I suppose.
For a reasonable price. And like I say, I missed the first 2 versions of him, so it was nice to have a second chance.
Yeah, and the mold's good. I like the mold a lot. I just think Swindle is the more vibrant and interesting version of the character, if you can get it. I would definitely put this above Armorhide. I'd definitely put this above the Komodo dude as well.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
really like this.
Yeah.
Again, as Swindle, he doesn't really look like, in quotations, Combaticon Swindle. I get why they call him it, because he's close enough, I suppose. I'm surprised they didn't make this into a Beachcomber, to be honest. You know, him being some sort of Doom Buggy, it would have kind of worked. And I mean, face is kind of...
he's got a bit of Doom of Beachcomber to him. So
yeah, kind of. It's close enough, but they didn't. It's like, oh, okay. Maybe it's because Hardtop is already in that kind of tonal color, because he's got like he's got that baby, very, very baby blue green color on him, and then the green. So maybe they just didn't want to go with another in that range.
Yeah,
like, yellow's different enough. That'll do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, this is perfectly functional. It's got lots of decent articulation. He's nice and chunky. Very good transformation for his size class. He's great. I really like this mold a lot. It's
absolutely.
I'd recommend it. Swindle's the best version, though, if you can get it. Then Hardtop, and then the movie version, if you like. Next, we got Clocker. Not Cocker, if you want to call him Cocker. Well, you're wrong. He was in the show. His figure is... It's his figure's weird. Yeah. The Galaxy Force version has a lot more paint on him, so he looks a lot better from Japan, which they don't have a version of here, because why would they? The car mode I like. I like the car mode. I'll say that. I think it's a cool kind of sporty car mode. It does have weird exhaust vents on the side, very similar to Hot Rod. It's weird that we never got a Hot Rod recolor of this guy, to be honest, because again, it looks like they could or should have done it into that. You know? It's even got 2 seats sculpted in there as well for no things to use them, but they're there. But the way that this figure transforms is not bad, but it doesn't have a good hand feel, I suppose is how I'd phrase it. Because the legs are very hollow. They've got little flaps on the back, so it does hide the hollowness. The way that the head and the shoulders kind of connect, the head and the orange parts on top of the shoulders are all fold away inside of the hood of the car, and they peg together that way as well. And I don't know how to describe it better, but if you've played with the toy, hopefully you kind of know what I mean. It doesn't feel great to do it. It doesn't feel bad though.
No, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Not in necessarily a good weird.
No, but it's not. It doesn't not work either. It just doesn't feel. It just doesn't feel. Yeah. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to transform him like that. It's just like you go, okay,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, the vehicle mode is aces. I actually do quite like the cyber key gimmick for him, where the gun, basic for spoiler, basically comes together when the 2 gun barrels flip out. That's always been kind of cute.
It's a little bit of in a strange way, a little bit of a better version than Nitro Convoys, because the shape of the gun looks the same, but instead of the guns just flipping out, the side parts kind of flip upwards and then the guns flip out, so there's an extra step there.
Yeah, it gives it a narrow profile. It's taller, but it's narrower, which does a lot to make it feel a bit more sensible as a weapon.
But it also looks a little bit strange as well, because the guns just flip upwards, and technically there's no reason for them to. So it looks a bit strange in hand. I think, like you say, it looks better in vehicle mode. It works perfectly in vehicle mode, just because there's no place for those guns really to go. So them, again, flipping up above where the seats are is very much a mask kind of looking thing. In robot mode, him holding it looks a little strange again.
Yeah.
Did you use the pipes, the exhaust vents, as like secondary weapons as well? Because you can pair both of those into like a hand. So I pretended they were like an extra like 6-barreled gun flamethrower thing.
I think I did. I may have by default put them on his back somehow or on his shoulders.
Must be his shoulders.
Yeah, but they were nice to have as an option, you know.
The color scheme, there's a lot of baby blue in the robot mode, and a lot of orange and a lot of white. So it's okay.
yeah, it's an interesting layout for his colours.
Yeah.
To be fair,
If I remember, wasn't he like a wheelie-ish character in Cybertron? Like he was the really young kid on
he was kind of like the
Speed
wheelie
Planet?
/ B character, because Hotshot rather was much more of he was much more of a hot rod type in Cybertron.
Yeah,
If I remember.
that sounds about
So
right.
they brought in Clocker basically as the B stand, effectively,
Well,
which was also
for
wheelie.
only the
Yeah.
episodes on the Speed Planet until they just went,
Yeah.
we're done Speed Planet. We're never going to see these guys again.
Yeah.
Just the way of Cybertron.
So,
in terms of repaints, we had a couple. We had another version I had, which was Swerve, which does have a new head. Not massively different, but it is a new head, and he's mostly in red. It's okay. It's a bit more.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more boring because it's just red primarily, and a bit of like gray. Oddly enough, if this was in the movie line, I wouldn't have been shocked just because of how minimal the color scheme is in comparison. But he's here. They also did a movie Clocker, which is oddly enough a Transformers Prime breakdown color scheme. Right? He's that kind of blue. He's that kind of gray.
Yeah. See, I get a bit of almost Silver Streak / Blue Streak vibes from him with the color scheme. Not completely, but which one of them was? Because one of them was more of a dark blue than anything else.
Well, that was Smokescreen, but he wasn't really dark blue. He was more like just blue and red. None of them were this dark.
Which one of the other two? Because one of them. I mean, I actually do like it. I do prefer some of the Cybertron color schemes just because they are more vibrant. But I think of the Movieverse repaints, this might be my preferred one just because it feels. The fact that it is so toned down, it feels a little. Because there's more blue to it, it feels a little bit more vibrancy than some of the others do.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm not sure I'd say vibrancy because it's a very dark blue. But I would say it's definitely more interesting than just flat gray.
Some of the others. Yeah.
Yeah, it's again. I'm not sure vibrance the word. But it's got more interesting color scheme. I would agree with you there, just because at the very least the color placement isn't primarily gray. There's nice black showing through. I think you could say like the face could have done with a bit more color to it. Like if they'd gone for full Transformers Prime breakdown, which obviously wasn't a thing at this point, and they'd colored the face red or the gray or yellow or something just to make that a bit more of a focal point, that would have been good. I think it also helps that he's got this like chromy bright silver on him as well. So again, it's another focal point to kind of pop versus the just the dull gray.
Definitely.
But I would agree, out of the movie line stuff, it actually looks like a thing rather than just like, make it a boring real vehicle. I think he's at least on par with Swerve, because that's kind of the color layout. It's not like they don't have huge amounts of color, especially compared to the next two, which are the BotCon Timelines version, Cheetor, and of course Tigertron. Because if you do Cheetor, why wouldn't you do Tigertron?
You got to do Tigertron.
Of course you do. They made a whole new head for him, so again, why wouldn't you? And the head mold they made for it is I would call it like toddler Cheetor.
Yeah, it's a little smushed.
It is a little smushed. I get why it's a little smushed, because they're trying to get Cheetor's head details like pretty much. Yeah, but it does look like a cheapified version of Cheetor's head. It's good enough that you can tell it's Cheetor, but And then you have the robot mode, which they try and get the leopard spots or cheetah spots in there, and they're there. They're there.
Well, they've even replicated the eyes of the beast head.
Yes.
With the green spots, which is, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of freaking me out.
Yeah, do you see like the blue bits underneath as like a mouth?
I do now.
Yeah, because you've got the green bits with the eyes. Just above them, you've got two little blue strips, which you could consider eyebrows. And then you've got his abdomen region, which are like the blue pipes, which is like a big happy smiley face on his tummy. Which is a little bit weird to see, and you can't unsee it once you've seen it. Axel Hedge says, "What's with the horrifying Astro Train, Chibi? What do you mean? He's just eating down there. He's just giving this little
human business, having a snack.
Yeah, he's giving this guy kisses, really aggressive kisses.
He's promised he'll clean up once the show's over.
Yeah, he's triple takeover. What are you talking about? That's what happens in that episode. Perfectly. There's, as we mentioned, there's also. Oh, we should look at the vehicle mode. Vehicle mode. It's pretty okay. I tell you what's weird. The cheetah spotted seats. That's kind of weird. That feels very like 60s, 70s, 80s porno car vibe. Like this is a car like a guy would have outside of a school and be like, "Hey kid, you want some free candy?" That's the kind of vibe that I get from this kind of looking car. Well, specifically the car seats. If you take the spots away, it's quite nice. It's yellow and then definitely metallic blue color. It's pretty good. And then a big aggressive maximal symbol on the front of it. What do you think of the vehicle mode? Big D.
I don't think you're wrong in terms of the spotted upholstery. That's a choice.
Yes. Yes.
But in terms of, I mean, that yellow is quite nice. The big old maximal symbol is kind of fun. That metallic blue is actually really quite nifty, to be fair. And I like that they've given. Is that a highlight effect they put on the wheels as well, or is that just for light
that's translucent blue plastic.
But yeah, it all comes together to create a really nice Cybertronian mode for it. So yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, it's all right. Not bad. And then we have Tigertron, who of course is using the same head sculpt as Cheetor, but they've given him a porn mustache, I suppose. You know, they've tried to give him whiskers, but it does just kind of look like a porno mustache. Like a big bushy one, don't get me wrong, he's rocking a thick one, but it looks weird. He again has the happy tummy, which is, very cool. He doesn't have the spots on him, but he does have a few stripes. And he's Tigertron colors, so he's white and like teal metallic-y blue. Yeah. Just quite nice. Vehicle mode, he's very teal, which is kind of interesting. He goes from a very white robot to an incredibly teal car mode. It's not bad. It's not a negative. It's just that's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I do like how in the robot mode, the teal complements for white, and then in the car mode, the white is a nice counterpoint to the teal. So nice balancing act there.
Yeah,
but the little bits of detail, so the black detailing is quite nice on the weapon part they've painted in. The seat. Have they painted the seatbelts, or is that just where they've done tiger stripes across his?
That's the tiger stripes. I like the idea that they could be seatbelts, though. That's a good call.
Yeah,
that's a way you make it work.
But no, I like it. I've always liked Tigertron's color scheme anyway, so it's always fun to see.
You like his porn mustache? You good with that?
I mean, he's kind of the only Transformer we can ever say has probably gotten any. So yeah,
I'm sure there's a few. Not a lot. Not a lot. Yeah, so it's an interesting color scheme. Which is your favorite then out of the Cocker versions?
I'd probably say Tigertron, to be fair.
I'm thrown off by the porn mustache, to be fair. I think I'd go with Clocker. I think the novelty of the two timelines ones is pretty high, though. I do like the weirdness, because they are very, very fucking weird. I do like that aspect of them. Where would you rank these for the scouts? Because I would put this above Armorhide. I think he's better than Armorhide, because Armorhide's just fucking boring. I can't say about the Komodo Dragon Recluse.
I'll probably put him about tied with Recluse, to be fair.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Next up, we got Breakdown, the old dude who turns into a three-wheeled. Oh, what do you call those race cars? Where they've got the really long nose and they scoot forward, and then half the time the noses flick up off the ground, and sometimes they do a backflip because they've gone too fast. It's
a dragster.
Is that what it is? Dragster. It's like a three-wheeled dragster kind of sort of vehicle almost. Vehicle mode is pretty good, I'd say. I like it. It does have a giant energy sword in the middle of the engine block, which is a little bit throwing off of the design, I'd say. Otherwise, I like the vehicle mode. The robot mode is also okay. It's pretty good. I like it more than Clocker.
Yeah.
My only real issue with it is he has baby forearms, which are his hands, which is a bit of a bummer. And he does have his front wheel and entire long nose frame, I guess is the best way to phrase it, behind. It
doesn't really collapse anywhere, does it? It just kind of like sits over his shoulders.
Yeah. It's not even over his shoulders. It's just behind his back.
Yeah.
Like if they were able to turn it into some sort of flag design, that'd be neat. But again, it's a scout figure, so you can't do huge much.
I mean, for one thing about him that also I actually kind of find it charming more than anything else, even though it does distract me a bit sometimes, is how his shoulders are so henched up over his neck, effectively.
Yeah, he's meant to be an old man in the show, if I remember. So he's a buff old dude.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah. No, I like the design visually. I think the head design's quite nice as well. You got a beard, and then you got horn, the robot horns on the side of his head as well. Then you've got the strange translucent yellow plate on the back of his head as well, which isn't a cap.
Yeah.
But then slightly pokes over the top of his head design, which I'm not quite sure why that exists, because it doesn't seem to have a purpose even in the vehicle mode either. Unless it's there just to kind of attempt to obscure the head and hide it, which I guess is what they were trying to go for design-wise.
Yeah.
But it does look weird. I think this one's pretty good. His Cyberplanet key is his engine block. You remove that, you put the key in, and then a blade flips forward. It's very basic. I'd say you need it because otherwise it's not. It's a nothing. It's not a weapon, so you have to have the Cyberplanet key to make it into anything. It's a bit lackluster. Yeah. But I think it's okay. Color scheme's a bit boring, and he doesn't really have many other dudes. He has a Cybertron Breakdown GTS version, which is what if he was? Whose color scheme would you say? Kind of blur.
I mean, it's a bit of Armada blur, and there's a little bit of G1 Cup in there as well.
Yeah, it's a weird mix.
It's a very weird layout, and it's weird how some stuff is really nicely detailed, but other bits aren't. So, like, you got that nice detailing on his abs.
Yep. Which they picked out in yellow, which that would not have been easy.
His lower leg detailing is really nice.
Yeah.
And then everything else, I mean, they picked out his eyes. Otherwise, his head is a silver helmet with a blue face, and everything else is shades of blue or turquoise, which is so weird.
Yeah, the head gets lost in the design, unfortunately.
It's a real bummer. Not picked anything else out in any other colours. Really does hurt it, because it's a nice set of colours. I mean, the thing is, both of them for vehicle modes, I think the colours work better than they do for robot mode, because the mainline version has that nice bronze colour that comes out in vehicle mode, and this one you've got the majority of the turquoise in play, and you got that lovely red striping they put in, red accenting on the weapon, and it kind of works with the deep blue in the recesses, and that the grey plastic just feels like it comes together better.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would have sacrificed the red stripes to get a bit more paint on the face, though. Because it just needs a little bit more. And I don't know what you change. I think you either change the face color itself, or you change the beard color, and I think it's probably the face you need to add a color to, just to again bring out the detail there. What color do you think would work?
Yeah, because
like a white?
Well, I mean, for mainline version works because it paints the face in a nice, almost grey night blued steel color.
Yeah,
and the helmet's in that darker shade with the yellow eyes. Whereas for Breakdown, the GTS version, they've used the lighter blue for the helmet and gone for a darker blue for the face and red eyes. So you just can't make anything out. I mean, inverting those colors probably would have helped, to be fair.
Yeah, I can see that.
So a lighter blue for the face, darker blue for the helmet. But yeah,
it's like almost there, isn't it? Almost there. It's just they messed up just at the important part, which is the head. You've always got to get your heads right on things because it's the focal point.
I do tell, like, they painted the helmet in silver, but the fact the face and the beard are both the same blue as the torso.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Like that part just kind of mushes into the torso primarily.
Yeah,
it's weird. I'd still say it's me. Which color do you prefer? Do you prefer like the GTS or the standard version?
I think I might go for the standard version, to be fair, just because
it's hard.
I mean, to be honest, I kind of like how the vehicle mode comes together as well, a bit better for the standard version, because you do have that lovely metallic bronze coming out.
I think I prefer the vehicle for the GTS, but I like the robot mode for the standard version more. And unfortunately, the robot mode is primarily what you're going to display your figures in. So I think that's why, for me, the standard version probably wins out.
Yeah.
Where would you rate him? Where would you put him? He's better than Clocker.
Yes, yeah.
I don't like him as much as Hardtop / Swindle. I'd probably put him below him. Yeah, I'm happy with that.
But yeah.
From the ones that we're talking about tonight, anyway. And I put him there.
I'm happy. I'd agree with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. We've got Sidos or Backstop now. This might be the worst of the Scout figures. Would you say that's fair?
I think that's fair.
Sidos.
Points for trying, points for effort, but execution lets them down badly.
I think Sidos is what... Now, Big D, you're old like me. Do you remember in Center Parks or places like that, you could get insect transformers, but they weren't official transformers?
I do vaguely remember those, yes.
And they were pretty bad in terms of what they did for transformations. It was very basic, very simple.
They were.
That's how I would describe Sidos's transformation, or Backstop, as he's called. As you just kind of unfold his arm from his bottom as a rhino, you fold the two legs, the front legs and the back legs together to make two sets of legs, which are facing off to the side because the rhino legs. And then you kind of just flip up a head. It's a very awkward-looking design that doesn't look like a transformer. At kindest, it looks like a Rock Lord transformation.
He does. I mean, he looks like a Happy Meal toy, doesn't he?
Yeah. If this was a Happy Meal toy, I think it'd be a pretty good Happy Meal toy. It's not, though. It was a proper full retail Scout.
Do you think he maybe needed to be, I don't know, a Voyager to get what they intended engineered properly? Because I think I can kind of see what they wanted.
Yeah.
But at this price bracket, it was never going to work.
Yeah, I think doing something with the legs would help. And I think if you could unfurl a full arm from the rhino head again, instead of having this little stubby hand just kind of flop out, or wimp and limpy, again, that would probably help.
Yeah.
But again, the Cyberplanet key gimmick, I don't think is that... For the way they designed the transformation, I don't think it does too much that's egregious, because all you do, put the Cyberplanet key into the rhino head, and the horn kind of just juts forward a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not great. I will say the Japanese one is better in the fact that the colors are consistent. For some reason, his torso is kind of very slight edge to purple gray, very slight edge to purple, and yet his legs are more.
Not.
No, they're what would you say? Like edge to green.
Almost like, yes, yeah.
And when I say edging to purple and edging to green, I mean like a tiny drop of purple and a tiny drop of green into a gray, and they just start going that color. I don't know why, because he's not. He's meant to be overall a consistent gray color. So I don't know why the American toy decided to have him different colored grays. Maybe it's to make him less boring looking. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's odd. Do you have anything to say about Backstop? Oh, I can think of a positive.
Go on.
The Rhino has a decent amount of articulation to it.
I was thinking the Rhino did look like a decent Rhino mode, if nothing else.
For the Scouts, for the size it's got the head can move left and right because it's shoulder swivel. The legs are like on individual ball joints, and they also have a knee joint as well. So it's like,
I mean, do we think this is one where he's actually intended, rather than for robot mode, it's for beast mode that's the main event for him? Because it's clearly got more going on to it. The Cyber Key gimmick works, it's designed for this mode.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's got the articulation in the legs, which that's a novelty even in larger beast formers at this period. And for a long time after, to be fair. It's not a guarantee you'd get that.
No.
And I mean, the difference in shades still isn't great, but I'd argue it might be slightly less irksome in the beast mode purely because you haven't got any of the robot gubbins distracting you as much.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I think a lot of the Cybertron Beast Planet toys suffer in some form or another. There are not a lot of like big winners from the Beast Planet stuff, I think, in general. XL Hedge says, Backstop, he punches you with his butt. Yeah, I do like his butt hand, just because it's kind of a giant scoop, which looks quite cool. But yeah, Backstop, man, he's he, in my opinion, one of the worst toys of the Cybertron range, unfortunately.
I have to, as much as I try and be positive, I have to agree with you. Yeah.
If you like him, that's fine, but there's no way you can say this is as good as some of the other stuff. No way.
You know what? I'd actually say that the movie repaint might have more charm to him than the mainline version, just because.
Oh.
Well, the face for one thing is nice. It's so much nicer.
Yeah.
You can actually make detail.
It's the movie repaint is interesting, but they use the weird like camo green again for some reason.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they've colored the underside of the rhino head silver. I don't think it perfectly works, but I think there's an interesting idea there.
Yeah, they kind of carried through a bit of the underside detail of the beast mode towards the rear as well, which you can see in the robot form. So, and the fact that so much of what was bright red and yellow on the mainline version is now like black. It's just not as distracting. It doesn't quite stand out as much.
Yeah, the legs definitely help. Like you say, the orange and the red not being there. I think that's good. I think he might have done with a bit of a brighter face, like tone up the gold a little bit more in terms of color. Maybe make. Do you think making his like normal hand gold as well, that brighter gold would help? I think that might look nice.
Possibly. Yeah.
Just to get like if we were changing the color scheme just to make him a little bit more poppy.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. I think I prefer this over the standard version at least.
Maybe just a brighter shade for the eyes, because the gold they've used actually does give you a fair amount of definition for the facial features.
I think the reason I said that is because his head's so sunken into like I don't want to call them shoulders, whatever, like his sunken in head. It kind of blocks, and it doesn't help that I don't think this was lit very well when it was having its photos taken. His head's completely in shadow. So maybe if they lit this better, it would look a little nicer as well.
Mhm.
I do like the fact that the tip of the horn is painted silver, but then the armature where it kind of juts out the head is black. I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Still not great. Mold's still kind of poo, but yeah, I think this is the better version of a kind of flawed figure. I
Yeah.
suppose. Easily the worst of them. I'm guessing you would agree with that as well.
I would say so, yeah.
Now, what do you think of Lugnuts? Because I think Lugnuts is, again, there's bits here that are interesting, but again, it feels a little bit of a failing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a real interesting look. Let's put it politely, shall we?
The way I would describe his robot mode is, have you seen the movie Labyrinth? Do you know where I'm going with this?
I think I do.
It reminds me of the old woman puppet who collects garbage. And she's got this giant backpack full of garbage on her back. That's what it reminds me of, because this robot has a very slender legs, a very small body, a kind of scrunched up head or neck area, and then it's got all this bike shit on his back. Like, all of it's just on his back.
He does rather look like someone's just dumped a bike over his head.
Yeah, like he's carrying a bike. He's carrying a bike to the garage because it was broken. It broke on the way there.
Yeah.
And no one told him that he could just push it. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think for like the actual bike mode is really good.
Yeah. It's actually for a cruiser bike as well, which is not always right. It was more common in G1 because that was Retcar and Grooves, look, to be fair. But it's not the sort of bike that nowadays we're more prone to see super bikes.
Yeah.
And sports bikes. So this is it's a nice tidy bike mode, and the Cyber Planet Key gimmick is not when it's not deployed, it's not obtrusive because it's basically the panniers at the back. So I quite like the bike mode.
And the Cyber Planet Key works in both modes. It looks a little weird. It's kind of a missile launcher thingy. And like you said, in bike mode, when it's not deployed, it's just the back exhaust on the other side of the bike, which is like, that's fine. His gun's a little obtrusive, but it's there to be obtrusive so that you've got a light on the side of the bike, and it's hiding a lot of like gaps and stuff. So it might not be the best gun, but it's definitely helpful for tidying things up for the bike mode. So I appreciate that at the very least. The transformation's a little bit messy because it's trying to do a lot of stuff, I suppose. And the back of the bike, which houses the Cyber Planet Key, is just kind of shunted into his upper back, where it all kind of clips together. So again, it's an interesting thing, but I don't think it really works just because it at the end of the day looks a bit on the strange side. Only got redone once into a red version, which I think is a little bit worse because it's just a flat red with a couple of racing stripes on him. I think the standard version is better because he's got the flames. Yeah, the flames on the standard version make him look a little bit cooler. I'm not sure using yellow flames on orange was the best call, as it does get a little bit lost unless you like highlighted them with like a black rim around the flames to make them pop a bit more. They get a little bit lost, but it's better than just effectively the red one with white stripes, which is a little bit dull. Would you agree, Big D?
I would. It's. I mean, it's not a bad red. It's just a bit nothing, and the silver detailing doesn't do much either for it, sadly. No,
it's just dull. It's just dull. Is what I'd. It's not. It's just a Cybertron repaint. I thought it was a movie repaint. My bad. No, it's just the standard Cybertron redo of him. I wish I had more to say about him, but I don't. I just don't like the design. The transformation's a little bit awkward, but the bike mode itself is really good.
Yeah, that's because it's a nice bike mode. It's just everything else kind of suffers.
I'd put him above Armorhide though, because at least he's like visually more interesting than Armorhide.
Yeah, I'd give him that. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially the main bit.
Don't worry, he's barely in the show. There are a lot of Cybertron figures that were barely in the show. They just kind of gave up because they spent so much fucking time on Speed Planet racing. And they just went, fuck it, who cares? Well, that's all the scouts then. We've done all of them. We're now on to the deluxe figures. And we're starting off with Landmine, who is a excavation digger thing. He's got some nice bits of transformation to him. The excavator's a little chunky, I suppose, in some ways, but it's generally quite nice, I'd say. I like flipping down the grey bits on the side to basically give him a cock. That's quite nice. That's a good bit of transformation. He does have the shovels just on the side of his arms, which is a little bit... and the Cyberplanet key is weird. As you put the Cyberplanet key into both wheels, you turn them, and then little blades come out the side of the wheels, which were meant to create hurricanes somehow.
I mean, I think it's supposed to turn him into like a mining machine, so he backs up into a cliff face and cuts chunks out of a wall.
I remember specifically that's not what he did with it in the show. It was to create a hurricane. Well, for some reason.
It might not be what he did in the show, but I'm pretty sure it's what he's turned into is supposed to do.
So you mean in vehicle mode? Did you mean in robot mode?
In vehicle mode. So I've actually seen some machines that do similar things where you have earth-boring machines where they have the blades that actually dig in and get a lot of the material out. And it's sometimes they're normally orientated vertically instead, but you do get them horizontally. Okay. Nowadays they're more they've moved more into conical rotating drill mechanisms instead.
The drill from Total Recall.
Yeah
That's how I think of
them. But you can do the same thing with this design.
Okay. Well, they never did that in the show, but that would have made a bit more sense than a hurricane at the very least. What do you think of Landmine then? Because I think he's okay. He just feels like a very standard kind of this is perfectly okay for a deluxe kind of figure of this time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the bucket off the front splits, and although it is a bit awkward hanging off either arm, just the fact that they had it split, that's actually kind of unique in terms of transformation process. Yeah, so I like that.
I can tell you the last time they did it, where they split the bucket.
Go on.
Armada Scavenger.
Yeah.
Remember how well that went?
This is a lot better than that.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But yeah, I'd say he's a perfectly capable deluxe class figure. I mean, the cyber key integration, at least it does something over his shoulders, which is kind of cute. And he's got the missile launcher as a main weapon if he wants. So you don't have to use the cyber key gimmick.
Yeah.
Looks like he's not badly articulated for the robot mode. So that's
he's pretty good. He doesn't have a waist joint, but again, for this era, that wasn't kind of a standard thing.
Yeah. I mean, the head sculpt is kind of... It's a sort of design we do see not a small amount in the Cybertron Autobot line with that head crest and the helmet design. Seen it you do see it on a few characters over the course of the series. It gives them a nice bit of uniformity, which isn't always there for Autobot head designs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I kind of like him, to be honest.
And in terms of repaints, he got 2. So they gave him a Botcon redo, a Rhinox redo for the Botcon, which it's not bad actually. They didn't even repaint. They didn't resculpt the head. They just kind of painted the gold around the head in the right places, and it works pretty well. And I think for a Rhino to be an excavator kind of makes sense.
I mean, hilariously, the way that the digger bucket splits wonderfully mimics how the original Rhinox toy beast mode head split and sat awkward on shoulders.
Yes,
So,
not accurate to the animation model, but close enough to the toy. I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a nice deco. I think the head it's got very. It's actually.
It's just the standard. It's just the head mold. They didn't change it, like I said.
Yeah.
They just painted it really well to make you think that it's more Rhinoxy, which is a great call. And then the movie did Grindcore, which is basically Constructicon color. It's better than their the usual movie redos. The only thing I would criticize is I don't know why you made it an Autobot. That's odd. Yep. Especially if you're referencing the Constructicons. And I don't think you should have used so much gray, and I don't think you should have used the burgundy kind of red but not red color on the highlighted parts. That's kind of a weird choice. I think if you used, instead of the gray purple, that would have been better.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah, just purple instead of all the gray would have done wonders for him.
But he's not a Constructicon. Yes, he is. You wouldn't have chose his fucking lime green if he wasn't going to be a goddamn Constructicon.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yes, stop being cowards.
Yeah, he's an Autobot. Why is he an Autobot? Come on. So weird. So which is your favorite version? I think mine's still Landmine. I think the Rhinox is really good and inventive. And Grindcore is almost there. They just kind of fucked it up by being weak, is how I would describe it.
Yes, that is my summarization as well. Cowards. They were weak, cowards.
Yeah.
In to paraphrase a noted author, I know people who use subtext, they're cowards.
True. So which is your preferred one? Is Landmine or Rhinox?
I think it's Landmine as well. I mean, for one thing, the colors were actually a really nice callback to the Autobot Junior Target Masters.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were all very kind of yellows and tans and whatnot. So, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah,
I like him.
I think this one's okay. Again, like we say, not crazy. Here's one that we talked about last time, but we didn't go too deep into it. It's the Megatron Jungle Planet, which is the 10th anniversary deluxe Megatron figure. We talked about the deluxe Optimus Prime. This is the Megatron. This Megatron's in the kind of military green to make it look like a real dinosaur, but then has gray and purple in it. Different from the original version, which again we didn't talk about first time round, which was more standard ice cream pink, and then a bit of purple.
Yeah, the original
as well
is much more the original, based on the original Megatron Beast Wars toy. This one takes a bit more from the Transmetal 2 colors more than anything.
Is that what they're going for? Is that what they're going for? Transmetal 2?
I think so.
Okay.
It's not 1-to-1, but I mean, especially where you got the head with that bronze with the purple bits and the silver, that is very Transmetal 2 Megatron.
The head design,
and
yes.
Just the overall vibe with, because of the size of the figure, they couldn't really go all in, and especially as they decided to go for that greenish shade to give it a more organic look to the beast mode.
Yeah.
But they've used they've tried to get that metallic-y deep bronze for the body that was such a trademark of Transmetal Megatron. And it's not quite there.
No, it's more of a chocolatey brown color than it is bronze.
Yeah. So they've tried, and it's a gallant effort, but not a success, sadly.
It's an interesting color scheme, at least.
It is very interesting, and unlike Prime, he doesn't have to have a separate accessory that doesn't integrate anywhere if he's without being a bloody surfboard.
Yeah, he does have a big tail, which I suppose you can lose. Did you have this mold? Can the tail do anything? Or is it just there?
I didn't have this mold, but the tail's actually the missile launcher. That's where the cyber key gimmick comes into play.
Okay. So there's a gun hidden in there somewhere. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the key goes in, but if you look at the original version in the menu, they show a better picture of the launcher. So the key goes in, the
there
top
it
of the
is.
tail flips, and the launcher becomes available.
So it's a little awkward, but it's fine. I do think it's funny that kind of a benefit, and also funny that you can take away the tail, so it's not stuck to his arm like the original Beast Wars toy. But then he has this almost little. He's got the arm from Scary Movie 2. You know, the strong arm.
Yes.
Take my strong arm. He's got that hand, which is kind of funny.
Yes.
No, give me your real hand, but this is my strong one. He wipes his little hand on the face. And in terms of colors, they're not a huge amount. There's the standard ice cream colored pink. There's the one we have. Then we have the really good G2 version, which is from Bokon Timelines, the Cindersaur, where he is a very, very vibrant blue. He's got bright red on him, purple, and then a kind of limey green. He is very unappealing to a lot of people, I'm sure, but I think he is beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And then you have the United reissue from 2012, which is full original Barney colors.
Yes, I think like if you want the only thing I'll say as a negative for this one is the face is black, and it needed some paint on it. It needed more paint. He's got like let's say that the helmet cheeks going around to the eyebrows are painted, and the cool thing about that is it kind of looks like an M for Megatron. I don't know whether that's deliberate or not. Let's say it was, because that's kind of fun. But then his inner face, there's no color. It's just black plastic with red eyes. Yeah,
it needed a little something on the face there.
Yeah,
which is a shame because the rest of it is really quite a nice, vibrant color scheme.
I love how pink it is, pinky purple. I'd say this edge is more on the pink than the purple.
If you're doing a standard version of Megatron from Beast Wars, he has to look like Barney. If he doesn't, you failed.
Do you think it's fair to say that the original 10th anniversary version chickened out of going full Megatron colors? Because it's such an ice cream. It is literally an ice cream color. If you don't want to say ice cream color, it's your mum's face cream that she has, that she slaps on her face before going to bed at night. It's an opal fruit, strawberry flavored fruit. That's another color scheme. Another color you can peg to it if you want.
It's a very uncomfortably flesh-colored tone, isn't it?
It's a Lindel's white chocolate with strawberry truffle inside of it kind of color.
Yeah,
that's the color. It's not proud of its color. I think like in terms of the easiest one to get, I would assume the Jungle Plan is pretty easy to get, and I'd be happy enough with it. I'd love the Cindersaur, and I'd like the United Megatron as well. I think Cindersaur is my favorite, to be fair. But I'd for like a standard Megatron, I'd be happy with the United one.
Yeah, and the thing is, I actually really like what they've done here, because much like Prime, they've basically amalgamated the Transmetal and the standard versions.
For which one do you mean? Sorry, for which color scheme?
Both. Well, not just.
Oh, you mean the mold? Sorry, I thought you meant the color scheme.
Mold.
Okay.
I do love how the T-Rex is both a much more organic T-Rex, but has a lot of the robotic detailing that was a trademark of the Transmetal 2 Megs. They've just transplanted it across to that body type, and I do kind of dig that. I like what they've accomplished there. So,
I wonder how easy this mold is to get. Maybe I should have a look on eBay tonight. I'm interested in it. Okay, neither of us have this, so it's not really fair for us to rate if it's better than Landmine or not. That's no fair. I can't say. So we'll move on to Hotshot. The first Hotshot, the Exilion one that has a legacy redo, which is better than this because it's the exact same toy, but with like almost 20 years of extra engineering to it.
In fact, I have that version right next to me.
I have the legacy one, you mean?
Yeah, I have the Cybertron version around here somewhere.
I remember for the time, the Cybertron one was, it's really good.
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I wanted to try and get the Breakaway repaint the movie.
Oh yeah.
So I want a Getaway in my collection.
There's a not boring repaint from the movie line
Mm.
because they actually did something instead of make it a boring car. But
Yeah.
Exilion was also his name. The only issues I think I have with the robot mode are the arms are a little on the long side. And I think that may be because of how thin like the bicep area looks. I think it may be, and you've also got the doors that hang down a little further than the hand, so then it just kind of accentuates the arm length.
Yeah, the arms are very much where he comes a cropper, unfortunately, because the rest of him is quite nicely proportioned.
Yeah,
but just because of how he transforms, and it's not a complicated transformation. In fairness, it's actually a really nice transformation to go through. But just because of that and how they've tried to minimize the steps you have to go through and get as much out of it as possible, there are compromises they've had to make, sadly.
Yeah, I'm still waiting, to be honest, for the Legacy one to not be full price. Which is surprising it's still price at the moment, because I would like to get it because I do like this a lot.
Yeah.
It's worth mentioning the Cyberplanet key is pretty shit. I think that's fair to say. I don't think that's not unfair. All you do is you plug the Cyberplanet key in and two little wings pop up out the side of the vehicle mode. It makes him go faster because adding things to the side of a car totally doesn't add to the drag or anything. It speeds it up. And in robot mode, I don't think he ever used it in robot mode. I don't think it had a purpose for robot mode, apart from it
made
makes
him look
cool.
like Hot Rod.
yeah, pretty much. That was about it. He does have a translucent gun, which I'm not sure why they decided that was a good idea, but fair enough.
See, the thing I don't get is why they chose to give him the same gun for the Legacy version. Why we couldn't have given him a decent gun for that instead? I don't know.
No, I get toy accuracy, I suppose. I guess, I don't know. In terms of redos, there was the Galaxy Force Exilion, which was just not too different from the red version that we're going to look at, but I think this came with a DVD, and this made it special.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's red and hot roddy looking colors. And then a year later, America did their version, which was pretty similar. There's a few changes to it. The Japanese version has flames on the back of the car mode on the side, while the American one has them on the front of the car mode, and then not all on the back, but a little bit on the back. Spoiler.
Yeah.
It's much more like you would expect a hot rod to be, but they gave him translucent blue for his wings, so it's oddly not as hot rod as you might think. Then there's the movie Breakdown, which you mentioned, Big D, which is getaway colors, not breakdown colors. Works pretty well. Works pretty well in both modes. And then there was, I think, the best version, which is the Timeline's Bumblebee, Shattered Glass Bumblebee. And if they did a Shattered Glass Bumblebee, Goldbug, sorry. If they did Shattered Glass Goldbug with this instead of the Bumblebee that they did for Shattered Glass, I'd be more interested, because this looks like a very mean, angry Bumblebee.
I know. It does so much to... I mean, inverting the B/Goldbug colors, for one, works really well.
Yeah.
But the head sculpt... I mean, Goldbug's head sculpt's always been kind of a bit of a goofy one, but this makes him look pretty sinister, to be fair.
Yeah, they did a really good sculpt job when the Botcon guys were doing this. And like you say, just inverting the colors and making him primarily black, I think might have been, I don't know for sure, but I think might have been the inspiration for doing like Murder Bee from like Dark of the Moon, doing that kind of inverted color schemes. They just did the better idea. And the only kind of maybe downside, and I wouldn't say it was a massive downside, is not having the translucent plastic on this version of Bumblebee as red, because the red really helps pop stuff. But I'm guessing they wanted to tie it into the head and then the little bits of paint just to kind of tie it together.
Yeah, I mean, the fact keeping it blue actually gives him, I think it gives him a much more unified feel.
Yes, yeah, I would agree.
Some of the others were having different colors. It makes the wings stand out, but also kind of breaks from the cohesiveness. So it just feels just a much more complete look. So,
oddly enough, the shape of the the chest, because I don't think they changed the chest, did they? No. Because of the shape of the chest, they painted it so it looks like it's a bug's mandibles, yeah, which is, again, really nice. It's just a happy coincidence, I think, more than anything, because that wasn't specially molded for the BotCon version or anything like that. It just it was part of the Exilion Hotshot mold to begin with.
But sometimes they did get real lucky when they picked the molds for the BotCon exclusives, where they found one that it had enough stuff that they could tweak just in paint to exist in detail, but it could make a figure just shine.
BotCon was interesting because there were some that were just, like you say, perfect, and then there were some that you're like, you're trying, and those ones always felt like they had access to it and they didn't know what to do with them, and they already had a theme for most of them. It's just, it'll do. They'll do for this.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It does make you wonder, because Hasbro had to have known that they had Legacy Hotshot in the pipeline when they were doing the Shattered Glass subline. So it's weird they wouldn't have waited to do Goldbug using this much nicer figure, to be fair.
Yeah, but what if we just do them again and we do another Shattered Glass version and sell it to you again?
That's also quite likely, yeah.
Always imagine the worst when you're talking about a company, is how I would say. So what is your favorite version of this mold? Because I would say it's Bumblebee. By leaps and bounds, it's the best version.
I think I have to agree, yeah. It's the nicest color scheme. I think it's the most cohesive. And it takes a figure that's actually pretty decent to start with and just puts it over the top.
Yeah. If not Bumblebee, who? Because I think it gets a lot harder. Because granted, you've only got 3 choices, not 4.
I'd probably go for your initial release, Cybertron Hotshot.
I think it's hard because I want to say that, but I think Breakaway is really nice as well.
Breakaway gets points mainly because they've used them all to create to represent a legacy character who hadn't had a figure in like 20 years.
Yeah. He got one Power Master and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I know that repaint was desirable because I tried to get one for the longest time. And until
you wanted it at the worst time as well, because you wanted it when Getaway became really popular in IDW. So then everybody wanted this.
That's the funny thing. I wanted him before that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. I just happened to miss out on him when he was released because he was pretty hard to get hold of over here in the UK. I mean, I had a few bids on him, but they went for money I wasn't willing to pay for it. And then, of course, he did eventually show up in More Than Meets the Eye, which raised him to
silly prices.
Yeah. But then we have the Titan's Return version. So,
are we getting a Getaway out of the Legacy version? I wonder.
Oh, that'd actually be really nice.
Because they could just do the really boring thing and just make him the hot rod version, the red version, which is like all right. But if you just give him a new head mold, I think it's good enough to be Getaway again.
I mean, I fully expect us to see a repaint of the Legacy version as Exilion, because we have the Cybertron Walmart line coming next year.
Oh, you mean the red version? Okay, because when you say Exilion, unfortunately, my brain goes to that's his normal name, because that was the Galaxy. You mean the red version? Okay, that's fine. Yes.
As the mold exists, and it's an easy repaint to do.
Yeah, and it's hot roddy, so people probably pick it up logically.
I would like though to see him. If they don't do an original mold for Getaway, I would like to see the Legacy version repainted maybe given a new head sculpt as well.
Definitely a new head sculpt. Definitely a new head sculpt.
To reflect the version we all now associate more closely with Getaway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see the rest of the Autobot Power Masters, because the other two haven't had figures at all.
No.
Mainly because they were didn't have much personality anyway. I mean,
well, they never got a show, to be fair, so, what are you going to do?
I mean, Getaway had more personality throughout, especially in the G1 comics, because they made him the escape artist, and he did get a lot of. Well, he had a pro story in one of the annuals, and he was one of the only Autobots to make it through to the end of the G1 comic. He was like one of the surviving bunch right at the end when things were getting hairy. Actually, no, Teller, he wasn't. He actually got blown away in the final issue.
Oh,
that's my mistake. Yeah, I'm thinking. No, I got myself confused there. But they had a gag where basic getaway, you've been got. I meant to blow him up with a missile. But he was resurrected. That's right. But he was the writer and the art team had enough familiarity that they wanted to give him spotlights from time to time.
right.
Not big ones, but enough that he appeared. And, escape artists is a fun idea, and Benardi, more than his VI, ran with it in a big way. So I'll be surprised if we don't see him show up.
I'd be surprised.
Probably using this tooling, to be fair.
Yeah. But Hotshot here, he's better than Landmine, I would say.
I would
better
say
figure
so.
than Landmine.
Yeah.
And we can't talk about Megatron, so there you go. We got the defense Cybertron version of him, where he goes and gets upgraded into a pretty cool armored truck car thing, and he's rammed with all of the missiles. In terms of an upgrade, this is a really fun toy, just because of the amount of extra kind of robot play features you have. Let's get the attack mode, where he's got
he's hideously heavily armed.
3, 4, 5, 15, 30 missiles on his shoulders, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, he's doing the full Itano circus on his own.
It's crazy.
Hot shot, because he just has. It's someone's asked, "Do you have missiles?" He says, "Yes." They say, "How many?" "Yes."
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of. I don't think it was a reference to the Seekers. Do you remember that? Like maybe 1 or 2 episodes where they have the nipple missiles. They never really ever use them again. It's kind of like that, but on steroids. So he's got an ass ton of missiles. He has one weapon, which is a shiv, which he can hold as a normal shiv, or you can front load it as a bayonet for his arm. His Cyberplanet key seems a tad redundant, as it turns his 2 machine guns on his shoulders into even more missiles.
Because he just didn't have quite enough.
No, well, why not more, I suppose. The articulation's pretty decent. The transformations, not that. It's not great. It's a little. I'd say it's more basic than his previous version. You just kind of straighten the legs out and unfold the arms, and that's about it.
I mean, probably the biggest knock against him is the fact that the legs are on slides, and he's got quite a hefty torso resting on those sliding rails. Yeah,
it's not quite like the Hotshot where there wasn't nearly as much. I never had a problem with mine with.
Oh no, mine's been fine as well. But I know that it's one of those things sometimes.
It's a thing. It can happen.
You move the leg and you think, "Oh, that's a bit loose," and so if it doesn't lock in place, one leg will just go. Whoop.
Yeah, I haven't heard it happen, but it's definitely something that could happen. But there's a lot of player features, a lot of things you can do with him. The color scheme's fine. It's just the same as the last figure, effectively.
Yeah.
And then we have a Bokon version, which is Springer, which I think makes sense. I'm not sure they pulled off Springer super well here. Like visually, he doesn't look super Springery.
No.
He's too grey, I think, and not enough of the right colored green. He's got 2 tones of green on him, at least. But you look at him and you don't go, "Oh yeah, that's Springer." You go, "That's a green dude." I don't know who.
The Roadbuster repaint, though, I have this with the aftermarket upgrade kit because it's a quite tasty color scheme in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
But the upgrade kit to make it look more like G1 Roadbuster and give him a hideous amount of guns.
Even more guns. Well, to be fair, he had missiles. Now he had missiles before. Now he has the guns to kind of back it up, which is fair enough. Yeah. I had this figure as well. It is let down by not having a new head sculpt, which would have helped. It was in the 2-pack with the Dirge figure, so it was the only way that most people could get that Voyager Starscream for the most part. And they came with a pretty okay repaint. Like, for Roadbuster, it makes sense why you'd have this as Roadbuster. And the colors work near enough. I just think it needed a bit more paint on the actual face. It's like, there's no paint on the eyes, there's no paint on the face, so it does get a little bit lost.
Face.
Yeah. But it's a good repaint. I think I prefer the standard version the most, though, out of them.
Yeah, and I have to say, it says a lot about how much people are fond of this look for Hotshot. That do you remember they did the repaint of Cybertron of Siege Hound into Hotshot?
Oh yeah.
That there's been a couple of kits to basically give him this upgrade, so you get all the missiles and the shivs and all the good stuff. And generally, I mean, one of them at least is a really nice upgrade kit that I keep meaning to pick up, to be fair. Which I should probably do it before they do a proper release of Cybertron Defense Hotshot, to be honest.
Yeah, because he's coming,
Legacy.
Right? I think.
You'd think so, because I mean, if they're doing a Cybertron line, we know that they're doing Cybertron Red Alert, but we don't know if they're going to do any of the Cybertron Defense versions, because they're very specific looks.
That's the thing, because I would have thought that you do those ones, because like, I don't dislike Hotshot, but I think this is better than Hotshot. I don't dislike Red Alert, but I think his upgraded form is, again, better. And then, again, Scattershot is just, his upgraded form is way better. Way better.
The problem is that so often these, especially these Walmart exclusive capsules that they do, they lean heavily on for repaints rather than completely new toolings.
Yeah,
which
unfortunately.
is very understandable. And it's actually quite fortunate for in a place where there are some really good toolings they can work with to do these figures or do these homages. So could be better, could be a lot worse though.
So better, is this better or worse than Hotshot standard version? Because I think this is better.
I think it's better. It's nicer to play with.
Yes, so, it's got stupid dumb features that work and don't hinder the toy.
Yeah, and the arms, for one thing, they feel nicer. They look better as well, don't they?
Yeah, the arm. Yeah, definitely. The arms are better. 100%.
Yeah. And that's even with having massive shoulders to work around. So
he's not the most posable, but that's fine. I think he's as posable as the previous one, mostly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got, like you say, he's not massively posable, but he does more than you expect.
Yeah.
So I can live with that.
Next up, we have Downshift, not Wheeljack, a Cybertron only. Didn't get it wasn't in the show or anything like that. Not Wheeljack, Downshift is pretty good. He's got a little bit of an awkward, like, wide chest and wide shoulders, but he's pretty cool. The only thing that lets him down is the color scheme's a bit wank. It's a bit wank. It's like the bonnet of the car is black, top of the car is black, and then it's this limeish green color all the way around. It looks more like the repaint color that you go, all right, just give him a shitty recolor and that'll do. He has guns which you can peg onto his shoulders, which is weird because he can just hold the guns anyway. So it's a bizarre design, but kind of looks neat. And then his Cyberplanet key is he gets a claw coming out the front of his car.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's weird looking, but there's some fun play features here. And it's I think it's better than the previous Downshift from Energon, not Energon. Yeah, from Energon, because he's not hampered by the fact he has to be a pair of trousers with that kind of gimmick. So I think this is better.
Yeah, that does make a bit of a difference. Although it is counterbalanced by the fact he has all of his Cyberplanet gimmick in his stomach, basically, in his chest.
Yeah, and it's a weird one. I don't know why it's there.
I mean, it works for the vehicle mode because a grabber for a car is kind of a bit of a classic.
Sure, yeah. Very wacky races kind of deal.
Yeah. For the robot, it kind of feels because it looks like he's going to give you a hug and then eat you with his chest, which is
Maybe it's for people who don't want to be hugged. It's to grab them and pull them in so they can't escape, and then he hugs them aggressively without consent.
feel my loving embrace.
Yeah, you'll never run again. It's a weird one. His repaint is a nice reference though, because his repaint is into Big Daddy, the Micromaster.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's nice. Again, the color scheme itself just needs a bit more to it. I like the vehicle mode looks really good. I might have added some flames onto the top of the car.
I was thinking that maybe the hood could have done a bit with some more detailing, but that's all it would really have needed, to be fair.
I think my issue is the robot mode. It's a little bit better than Downshift. I just think this mold wasn't serviced very well for like your primary like eye-catchy color scheme. Neither of them are bad, but neither of them are like you look at them and go, oh shit, there you go, that's the one. They're all like, yeah, this is okay. I like the reference. So, yeah. I
mean, it's nice if they're giving him his own color scheme rather than making him a Wheeljack tribute act.
Yes.
Like the Energon version.
Yes.
Even though his head is still
Wheeljack.
Very Wheeljack.
Yeah.
But it does have detailing that isn't Wheeljack in there. So that's actually quite nice. So it's not a one-to-one. But it's the color placement more than anything that I think is weird. I mean, I kind of get what they're going for, because they're going for a very 70s style muscle car look.
And that works, and that's fine.
And it is pretty much a 70s muscle car. It's just that shade of green.
Oh, you mean for Downshift? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Big Daddy, it works better because he's a more solid color all over with then the detailing.
Yeah.
Whereas Downshift is a two-tone body with detailing on top of that along the sides. And I mean, it's not an uncommon look for cars of that era, to be fair. It's just normally they're not those colors.
I would have liked to have seen him done as Slicer, I think, and then given stupid tampos like Cannonball to tie them together.
That could have been nice, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because they had the budget to do Cannonball, and stupid tampos with that, so why not with this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How would you rate Downshift? I don't think he's as good as Exilian. Is he better than Landmine, though?
That's a tough one.
Because he does have the extra play. Maybe it's not fair to call them play features, but you can fiddle around with where the guns go. Did they go on his shoulders? Did they go in his hand?
I would say yes.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
I think he's got a less interesting color scheme than Landmine, but I think just as like a Transformer, he's a bit more fun to fiddle with.
Yes. Yeah.
How I would describe it.
I'd agree with that. And I mean,
Big Daddy's obviously the better color out of the two of them, I think.
Yeah, Big Daddy's the better color. I own this version of Downshift, and I'm quite happy to have it in my collection.
Yeah.
No regrets on that score. So
Mr. White says Downshift would make a nice Earth mode Roadbuster.
Yeah.
Like a not tooled up Roadbuster. Roadbuster without the guns.
Yeah, kind of a different spin on the Roadbuster gimmick. So a bit more of the Guns with Cats Roadbuster.
Yeah, but Roadbuster on a holiday where he's not taking everything with him. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Next up, we have Dirt Boss, who's a little, I'd say, mostly disappointing, unfortunately, for Roadbuster. Sorry for Dirt Boss. So, Dirt Boss is a monster truck, maybe.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Question mark.
Yeah, he turns into a robot that has all of his wheels on his back. It gives him an interesting silhouette. I like the head mold, because he has a kind of rotating eye thing that doesn't actually work, but it looks like it would like rotate for different magnifications. Dr. Cyborn from Skeleton Warrior style.
Yes,
is how I would describe that. Which for young people, I'll have no idea, but do some research, plebes. In terms of the transformation,
try and get a female out of your head.
In terms of the transformation, it's fine. I think the problem is because of the gimmick, which is the Cyberplanet key. You put the key in the back, and the wheels drop.
Go out.
They go out, and the car drops down. So it's more of a springy car, so you can push it up and down. It kind of springs for suspension.
Oh, okay.
but it does that. But
Mm.
because of that, he's got these giant wheels just hanging off of his robot mode.
Yeah.
And the robot mode is not like a deep transformation. And in robot mode, he does technically have a second Cyberplanet key, because when you put the Cyberplanet key into the back of his head, 2 guns flip forward over his shoulders. So that's kind of nice.
I was trying to work out what was different between the regular robot and the activated robot. And
yes.
now you've said it, I can see it.
Yeah, it's not super impressive, but he does get shoulder cannons, and it's like, yeah, okay. It's a shame because there's aspects here I like, but if we could just take those wheels off the side of the robot, I think that would help a little bit.
He's hindered by the gimmick, because if it wasn't for the gimmick, he would probably be a bit of all right, but as is. That's a shame, because he's got a classic Decepticon color scheme of purple and green.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's quite nice colors, to be fair. With some nice, there's some nice details to the vehicle mode and in the bot.
Yeah, the vehicle mode's quite nice as well. Like, it's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's like, yeah, it's okay.
I just found it so weird that they made the Cyberplanet gimmick that he suddenly gains suspension.
Yeah, it also made him gain speed in the show, obviously, because speed planet and suspension, so speed, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a stupid show. I'd put him below like Dirt Boss. Sorry, not Dirt Boss. Landmine, just because he's not a bad robot, and he's got an interesting look, but he's hampered massively by his Cyberplanet key stuff, massively.
Yeah.
And clearly he didn't do desperately well, as he was never repainted into anything, seemingly. So, Dirt Boss, you're interesting visually, but you kind of failed, unfortunately. But he's not terrible. Yep. We got Crosswise next, who's quite cool. He is a sexy James Bond, Fast and Furious kind of looking car.
I think he's a Bugatti Veyron.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. He's a car.
Yes.
In my eyes, he's a car. He's got door panels on the side of his shoulders, which is a little bit awkward. He's got his entire roof stuck to his forearm. Can't really do anything about that. And then he's got an incredibly broad chest because of the front of the car being that. So he does look quite wide boy meme. He's also got the back wheels and the under part of the doors as like these sticks that come out of his back, which I usually would pretend were like machine guns that you could undersling.
Yeah,
but, he's again kind of a strange one. His apparently his Cyberplanet key or his turbo mode was you get his gun and you plug it into the back, which looked like an engine. I always just assumed that always had to be part of the car, to be honest.
So did I, to be fair.
Yeah. His Cyberplanet key, not too bad. You put the Cyberplanet key in, and then 2 missile launchers flop up on top of the car, and they also flop up on top of the shoulders for the robot mode. It's not anything crazy. It's very similar to Dirt Boss's, but he doesn't have the stupid suspension.
Yes.
How do you feel about Crossways? Because is it Crossways? Yeah, Crosswise. He feels very just okay again.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice, tidy-looking vehicle mode.
Oh yeah, the vehicle mode's really good. Sorry, I agree with you there.
Yeah. Would I say it's the nicest looking vehicle mode of the deluxes we've seen? Possibly. It's certainly the tidiest.
Oh, it's not better than Hotshot Bumblebee, though.
That's true. Yeah.
Hotshot Bumblebee is so good with that paint scheme.
but this one actually looks like a real car, and is based on a real car, so give it points for that.
I won't. I don't like real things. I like fantasy. That's why I like season 3.
Have you not seen the Bugatti Veyron? What it does?
I don't know. Maybe cars all look the same to me.
It was the fastest road car in the world.
Look, if I cared about cars, I would have gone to Hot Wheels as a kid, not Transformers.
That's part of why I got into Transformers, because they were cars.
Yeah, okay. I got into it in the 90s, so all of my stuff is like season 3. The weird stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of redos, he got redone into Smokescreen, so he became burgundy and blue, if you were into that. He also got done into Movie Jolt, not the Revenge of the Fallen Jolt, though. That was a different Jolt, where he was gray and purple, so arguably a lot more boring. And then for Timelines, he got done into Jazz and then into Ricochet, so he got a brand new head to look like Jazz. He works pretty well as Jazz, and obviously if you're going to do Jazz, do Ricochet. The Ricochet is not the correct color scheme, though, as he's mostly a brown color. I don't know why they did that.
It's because it's a Shattered Glass version.
My apologies. What a stupid explanation.
Despite the fact that Shattered Glass Jazz always looks the same as mainline universe Jazz, which I've never understood.
Oh, it's like G2 Jazz, which just look like G1 Jazz.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, I guess there's an argument for why mess with a classic, but...
because you need to sell a toy. That's what I'd say. I don't know. Which is your favorite of the versions? Because I don't think Smokescreen's too bad. I think that's fine. I'm not a big fan of like the big yellow stripe in the center of his forehead, and then his face is just brown mostly.
I mean, I think the Jazz repaint is probably my preferred take on the character, just because, well, for one thing, it was a nice... I think this came before Reveal the Shield Jazz.
Probably 2006. Yeah, if not, then a similar time, surely.
Yeah, so it was when Jazz was pretty hard to get a toy for, a decent one anyway. But it wasn't for the re-release of the G1 version. But that's probably my preferred deco for this toy.
It's got some nice tempos on it as well. It's got the 4, it's got Kill to Win, it's got the stripe going from the bumper over the roof, it's got Massacre on the back, Massacre Racing on the window. There's a lot on for this color scheme, so it does look quite pretty. And just Ricochet, the Ricochet doesn't have that. So Ricochet is definitely a downgrade from the Jazz. I think I might agree with you. I think Jazz is probably the best of them. I mean, Jolt is, man.
Yeah, he's a nothing burger. Smokescreen is a nice kind of tribute to the G1 deco.
Yeah, but then again, with a strange head.
Yeah. Crossway for himself is...
It's okay.
He's
fine.
Quite nice, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just mainly black. So it's hard to be like, oh, I hate it, but there's not much to praise about it either. It's mainly black. It's like, oh, okay, well.
It's kind of refreshing though in its simplicity compared to some of the others we've seen.
I think it needed some more highlight colors. I think it works well as just a black car, but I don't know, the flat unpainted gray for the shoulders and the thighs. Maybe he could have done with a bit more gold on his legs to make it pop a bit more visually.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean they've got about detailing below his knees that probably could have done with a bit of gold paint.
Something there.
Pop.
Yeah.
So.
And I think I might like Landmine a bit more than this. I think I'd put it under Landmine. He's not bad. I just don't like. I don't like the hood of the car being stuck to the arm, and you can't remove it. That's not a big thing that I enjoyed fiddling around with. I think it made transforming him not worse, but a little bit more faffy than it had to be.
I mean, they
just pegged.
It could have been left made it on a peg, so it was just just say he could carry a shield in either arm would have done the job nicely. But hey ho, living. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
We got Brimstone next, another one from the Animal Planet, with a pretty interesting robot mode. And again, kind of an interesting pterodactyl mode. I think they're definitely hiding a lot of the problems with the pterodactyl mode in the images here because you don't see the underside of it. He does not do a lot of transforming. The entire head of the pterodactyl is a leg, which works okay. Not great, but okay. And he also has a really big, wide chest in robot mode. Big and wide. Cyberplanet Key's not great. It's better than Brimstone. Was it Brimstone? The Spinosaurus?
Yeah.
Probably. Let's say yes, probably.
Yeah.
It's the same idea. You put the Cyberplanet Key in, and he gets blades on the tips of his wings. So you can't, it's not like Starship Troopers where the bugs had the whole wing was a blade. If you wanted to get these to work, he'd need to fly directly into you and stop, then pull himself out and then fly away again. Doesn't work super well.
Yeah.
But visually, I like the colors on him. I like the color placement on him. It's a bit weird. I like the head design on him. It's again slightly weird, but he's another Beast Planet, Jungle Planet Transformer that doesn't really do a lot of transforming and looks awkward.
No. Yeah. I mean, there's potential in this design. I like how the blades are kind of integrated into the wing, the leading edge of the wings.
Yep.
Just the idea of having the beast mode head be one of his legs and the other leg kind of tucks up underneath, forms like the belly of the beast mode. That is actually quite, in theory, quite fun, and I like how the head looks quite nice and chunky as a consequence.
Yeah.
But the way the robot mode head just kind of sits, not even hidden.
Yeah, you just awkwardly push it down. It's very much like Nitro Convoys, where the head's just it's just kind of there, just pokes up out of the vehicle mode, and you're like, oh, come on. Oh, it's like Red Alert's head as well. Red Alert. There was a thing around this era where it's like, what should we do with the head? That's fine, as long as you can't see the face. It's like Scourge, right? No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, no, I care.
Yeah.
I care.
And it's a shame because, I mean, quite a few of these designs have felt like they just needed a little bit of extra time to cook, and they could do with a revisit someday because they're not inherently bad designs. They're just a little.
Do you think it's they just don't know what to do with some of them? Like they have like a concept and they're like, I don't know how to get from this to this without more money.
That's fair. Yeah, I think they come up with the idea, they can get it so far and then they just can't get it across the line because, like you say, because of money, because of what scale they're restricted to.
Might just be the engineering of the time. They just didn't have the idea for it as well because this was 2006.
Very true as well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing to bear in mind. There are some, despite what we've been saying, a lot of these figures, especially in Cybertron, featured some very innovative design for the time. Because most of these figures are not the bricks we would expect from what we became used to in Armada.
Yes, that's something really to point out because Armada was really the brick line where they had articulation, you were lucky. It was functional. And then, like you say, Energon, they started doing something, and then they kind of refined it a little bit more here.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think any of these figures you'd feel bad for having in your collection. Fundamentally,
Side arts you would, backstop you would.
All right, backstop's the exception.
He's definitely the exception to the rule.
But bear in mind, we've gone through what, almost 50 figures so far.
Something like that, yeah.
Getting on. And that's one that we'd probably feel bad to own.
Yeah, aggressively, man, this one's shit. Yeah.
Yeah, all the others I'd be happy to have in my collection and actually put in one of my Generations displays.
Ooh.
Just because they still hold up. There's a reason so much of it got reused again in the Universe line. Universe 2.0, so...
Yeah, for this one again, I'd say it's not great, but again, it's one that I'd like to, because like you say, there are aspects to it that I don't think are bad. It just needed, as the kids would say, more time to cook.
Yeah,
or more money to cook. Either way, and I think it's again another testament because it wasn't repainted at all. He was just done the one time, and that's it.
Yeah.
So. We're finally done. We're on to the Voyagers now. Woo!
Woohoo!
So we're starting off with Crumple Zone, who did get repainted into Dark Crumple Zone, which is his evil friend, and Optimus Primal, but we'll have a look at standard Crumple Zone. He had some very big, slightly unwieldy arms, very short legs, but that's fine.
He's a chunky old fellow, is Crumple Zone.
He was. The transformation was not crazy. Oddly enough, his vehicle mode is very similar to... what was his name? The bike dude, the old bike dude, the GTS dude. Breakdown? No, it began with a B. Clocker's friend. Backstop.
Backstop?
No, Backstop's the right now. Was it Breakdown? Breakdown.
Breakdown.
It's the same vehicle mode as Breakdown then. If it's not Breakdown, tough. Same vehicle mode. Transforms
bigger and more rocket powered.
Yeah, it transforms better than that one as well. Looks a bit tidier as well. The Cyberplanet key is a little bit awkward. There's a spring in his back. You put in the Cyberplanet key, and these two gigantic missiles flip over his shoulders. Because of the weight of them, it can like tip the figure over. He does have quite good like big front feet, but there's a lot of weight coming over his shoulders to slam down and kind of throw his balance off. I don't remember how good or bad he was at keeping his pose while that went, but yeah. Did he have sounds? I can't remember if he had. He might have had sounds.
I know my version was pretty stable, but he also had a bit of a quirk in that he only had one missile launcher.
Oh,
not one missile. One of the launchers was missing.
God damn,
I bought second hand.
Oh, apparently he did have sounds. I didn't know for the longest time he had a movable jaw as well, which is kind of fun because he's got a big orc mouth, which I like. Range, robot conversion as well. Yeah. He could also do his gimmick in vehicle mode, which looked pretty cool as it flipped out these little wings on the side of the vehicle mode. This is a better version of Breakdown in a lot of ways, and I make that comparison because of the vehicle mode.
Yeah.
It comes together better. It has a good look to it generally. He's out of proportion, but I think he's meant to be, given that he's meant to be the dumb, big, strong dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And everything about him sells that.
I would agree. However, I never had him. Dark Crumple Zone's better. Prove me wrong.
That's a tasty paint job.
Also, he has a green face. He's definitely an orc from Warhammer.
Honestly, I'm getting big Trapjaw vibes from Massive Universe.
That works too. That works too. It's that color green. It's orc green or Trapjaw from Masters of the Universe green. Oh, I forgot he had like flip down missiles as well, didn't he? On his no, wait, no, those are extra. He had like extra nipple things added to his vehicle mode, so he was also not only a repaint but a slight retool, as he has little wings on the side of his feet as well.
Oh yeah,
which I didn't notice until I looked at it a little bit closer.
And he doesn't have the 6 rockets that the other version has in his chest.
The 6 rockets. Oh, the
I always read as being rockets. So.
The weird round like copper bits on his chest. Yeah, I see what. Yeah, if I was a kid, I'd read them as missiles as well. Yes, that's been changed. So there's actually a decent amount of remolding.
Yeah, that's surprising. And he's got that really nice, bright, translucent orange as well. That's
do you know what that translucent orange is? That's Lego Ice Planet translucent orange. That's that if you want a metric of how orange and how translucent it is, it's that color. If you don't know Lego Ice Planet, you're too young. Sort yourself out, you fucking whippersnapper. Get yourself sorted. This is the better version. Like, he looks way more impressive. I like this way more. Way, way, way more. The wings on the side of his feet as well also give him... I assume these touch the floor. I don't know for sure, but I assume they touch the floor. If they do, they give him more, like, stability as well. Not just in the front, but from the side as well.
Do you prefer it to the Optimus Primal repaint?
Yes. Yes. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd repaint, to be fair.
The Primal repaint, I think is a pretty good call, just because he's got those big monkey arms, effectively, so you give it to Primal. Yeah. They've changed out the translucent Lego Ice Planet Orange for red, which is good. The color scheme's on point. It's exactly what you would hope for. But this era kind of was... I mean, we looked at the Cheeto and the Cybertron.
This was kind of like the benchmark for these sets going forward, to be fair. So.
Yeah. The only thing that's not 100% great with it is the head mold is quite soft. He doesn't have big pointy horns. Yes. It's a very smooth head, but obviously it's because of... I assume it's because you got to get that head inside the place where the head goes, so you can't have it too pointy. But the actual details are there. He's got the mouth. He's got the not face plate, and whatnot. And again, the way that they've painted it makes it look pretty. It looks nice. The blue, the white, the red, the black, it all complements each other really well. I think they probably they removed the sound gimmick from this version, though, which makes sense. Oh, this was in Kentucky, Lexington, Kentucky in 2006. Wowzers. A long time ago. No, my preferred version is Dark Crumple Zone. Also, his name's Dark Crumple Zone, so he sounds really raggy, like proper hard man. Like Big Dave down the pub. Yeah. Sorry, Big Gav. Yeah. Like he's called Big Gav because he's going to fuck you up. This one's Dark Crumple Zone. Crumple Zone would fuck you up. Dark Crumple Zone's going to fuck up your gran and then send you a photo of it. He doesn't have to hurt you. He just has to hurt your family.
Yeah.
How do you think he does for a Voyager? I think he does okay for a Voyager. I think he's a pretty solid Voyager. Not crazy, but pretty okay.
I'd agree with that one. He does a lot of stuff right, and he does the mission statement for what you need from this figure.
Doesn't push the boat though, does he? It's just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I think the next one pushes the boat out a bit more, even though I don't like him visually, mostly. And that's Live Convoy or Evac, who is a helicopter. He has a pretty fun transformation. He has very big like calf muscles, except they're going outwards to the side. And he has a decent amount of gimmicks to him. So let me try and remember without looking at the list. So he has a push button on the side of his helicopter mode, which spins the helicopter blades. He has a winch hoist hook, which you can pull down. It clicks, and then you press a button, and it zips back up really quickly. The Cyberplanet key flips forward 2 launching missiles for the vehicle mode. It can also be done for the robot mode as well. Did I miss anything? So planet key, gear, rotor blades, retracting tow cable, missile reveal. No, that's it. I mean, that's enough.
Yeah.
And you can also, it's a little bit more awkward. For the robot mode, you can push the blades together and then spin them as, I guess, like a bow staff, I guess.
Yeah.
Bit awkward.
Or like a rotating shield, kind of like what Dinobot did in Beast Wars.
I think
spinning blade shield kind of thing.
Yeah, I think visually that works better when you have it as like 4 blades, because it's more coverage as well.
Yeah.
And it's not like from a spinning like aspect. It's not like 2 big heavy blades going kunk kunk kunk. Yeah. But you're not wrong. If you wanted to do it that way as well, you could do. My issue, I suppose, with Evac is it's not the color scheme, because I think that's pretty okay. It's the head design. He's a really grumpy neighbor who's really annoyed that you're playing music at 3:00 in the morning. Or he's a grumpy neighbor and it's New Year's Eve and he's like, turn down the fucking music. And it's like, it's not even midnight yet. Come on, celebrate, you grumpy fuck. It's just something about the head design that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I can get that. He is a bit of a miserable so-and-so from a head sculpt, isn't he? What
do you think of the actual figure, though?
I like it. I have the Blades repaint, or I had the Blades repaint. I might still have it somewhere. I think it was in my to sell box. Don't know if I got a shot of it or not. But it's a nice figure. It's loaded with gimmicks. It's nothing's too intrusive though, which is kind of a novelty. It's not always a given for the Cybertron figures a lot of the time. It's not perfect, but it does everything it wants to do. It does it. And with the engineering they had at the time, it does it quite well. And honestly, it has one of the nicest alt modes for a chopper we had for a very long time. Yeah,
it's not perfectly clean. Like around the back, it gets a little bit it goes from quite curved to then very square because it's like his torso and stuff.
Yeah,
but I agree for the time period, it was a solid helicopter, definitely solid choice. It got done, as you mentioned, into Blade for Universe. We're seeing the Universe repaints now. It also got done the same year in Universe as Springer. So if you didn't get it once, here it is again. I'd say the Springer's not very good, though, because he's in wrong Springer colors, and again, he's in a loaded gray.
If I remember rightly, Blades was a solo release. Springer came in a 2-pack, I think, with Rat Bat. but I can't remember who Ratbat was based on. It
I
might
think
have been-
Ratbat was the wasn't Ratbat the Noise Maze figure that we talked about? The repaint?
Yes, yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I've just scrolled down. Yeah, that's exactly what it says. I should have just never mind. I was right though, so I'll take that.
Yeah.
The 2-pack's not bad. Not bad. I definitely think Springer visually is not correct though, and is more 2007 movie repaint, kind of boring.
Yeah.
He needed less gray and more pop. At least the yellow. Instead of giving him yellow, they gave him a highlight green color, right? That you'd use on an orc for like the highlight points on him.
Yeah, they did go through that phase of when they were repainting guys into Springer, where none of them really stuck for landing, did they?
They were scared of yellow, or they're scared of the bright green. Until 2013 with Generations, where they did the GDO, which was the movie figure that was into the Springer version, and then the big IDW version of Springer, which is the best Springer so far. Note, I haven't got the Studio Series Springer, but I'm still saying that 2013 Springer is amazing. It's really good.
I have the Siege version of that Springer that they retooled into Studio Series, and it's a good figure. If you haven't got a Springer already, it's a great mold to have in your collection as Springer.
Is it better though than the 2013 one? Because that's a really good figure.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, that, to my mind, is the better figure in its own right. I do come and kind of and ah from day to day over whether I prefer Sandstorm to Springer out of that mold or not.
Oh, yeah, that's not fair. That's hard, because they're both really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if you want a G1 version of Springer, the Siege version is probably Siege or the Studio Series is...
Yeah, I think at this point you just go for the Studio Series one now.
Yeah, but if you can find a Thrilling 30 Springer, buy Thrilling 30 Springer, and you will. If you've not played with it before, you'll be amazed at how much fun it is. It is showing its age because it's now like 11 years old.
Jesus,
God Almighty.
Yeah,
but there's stuff in there that. It's just the fact that it gave us a completely comic accurate version of Springer based on a really dynamic take on the character as well. So
it's arguably the best IDW figure we've had. Official IDW figure we've had, I think.
I would probably not dispute that, to be fair.
I can't maybe there's a better one, but I can't remember any of them offhand. The only other ones I remember the Skids, which wasn't very good. And the Megatron Stealth Bomber, which wasn't very good either.
They have the Bumblebee, which
that was terrible.
Yeah,
the Camaro kind of one.
Yeah,
that was terrible. That was not good. Ugh. Anyway, we should get back onto Evac.
Yes,
time's moving. There was also the 2011 Shattered Glass version of which was done into Galvatron. And it mostly works. The head, again, mostly works. Yeah. But it's the face that doesn't work for him. Like, he looks like a grumpy bastard, but he doesn't look like Galvatron.
Yeah.
He looks like a moody bastard that's cosplaying as Galvatron.
But then this version's supposed to be an even more wise and compassionate leader of the heroic Decepticons. Because it's Shattered Glass. And it doesn't work for that either.
Not really, no, because it's just in his colors. But it's good. I think the colors are really good for him.
Yes, it's really nice to get colored. Yeah,
I think between him and standard Evac, I think I like the Galvatron one a lot, but I like those colors. I think Evac standard might be the better color scheme, even though I prefer the color scheme because of the colors on the Galvatron. I think Evac might still be better if I explain that well enough. What about you? Do you have a preferred color scheme here?
I mean, I'd probably go with Blades, to be fair.
Really?
Because it's in hand. I quite like it because I've had it in hand. I've seen it up close. I think it's quite a nice. It's not a great representation of the character if it's supposed to be the G1 version because he's colored differently. He's supposed to be more of a white robot.
Yeah.
With red detailing on the helicopter mode. but it is actually a really nice deco.
I think my problem with him is he's just red. He's very, very red.
That is the biggest flaw of it, is a bit plain. On that basis, then, I might go for Galvatron, because that's a really nice purple they've used.
It is. It is. It's more spot on than a lot of the times when Hasbro attempts to do Galvatrons, and they take 5 fucking attempts to get the right purple. Fuck's sake.
Yeah.
XL Hedge says Thrilling 30 Springer hands down, and Ultra Magnus if you want a good IDW design for figures. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the Ultra Magnus. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I have that Magnus with one of the upgrade kits to make it even better. It's lovely.
I think this is the evac mold is better than Crumple Zone because he's got more gimmicks and features, better proportioned. He's just a good figure. He's better, but nothing taken away.
I'm happy with that.
Mudflap is next. The weird French man, who's a little awkward as a robot, and an interesting transformation, but awkward. Mainly because he's a crane, but crane vehicle thing. That entire crane chassis thing is on the underside of one of his arms, and on the other side of one of his arms is the entire cab for the truck, the front of the truck. So he's got these big two giant things just hanging off of his underarms, which, especially with the crane, are very, very fucking fiddly and faffy to put him on a shelf with. Makes him very unpleasant.
Yes, that doesn't look brilliant. The
actual crane vehicle is solid enough. It's a weird color for a crane vehicle because it's mostly baby blue for some reason. But it's okay. I don't know why. Well, I know why the hook is translucent green, because the blade that will pop out later is translucent green. But that's a very small bit of thin plastic that's also translucent, which is a tiny worry.
I would have my... I'd be having palpitation every time I tried to string that out, to be honest.
It's a little concerning. In terms of Cyberplanet Key, on one forearm, a missile flops forward. A missile launcher flops forward. On the crane side, you extend the crane fully, and then you put in the Cyberplanet Key, and a giant translucent green blade comes out from it. Which, that in itself is kind of cool. It's almost like a giant polearm weapon, which is quite fun. And the fact that he transforms from... you transform him by doing the splits, and that's how you get the long shape of the vehicle mode, and that's a bit different from the usual thing. And the actual design of the head and the way the robot looks isn't bad. It's mainly let down by these two giant lumps of crap hanging off of his forearms.
It's another case of they've tried to do something interesting.
Yeah,
it's not worked 100%, but they tried. Bless them.
I think again, if you made each of the things on the underside of his forearms removable, and you could have them peg on the side of his arms, and that would be an option. And if you didn't want to have them there, you could unpeg them and throw them in a box somewhere, or you could peg them into his back or something. I think that would work a lot better. But the fact that these things are just stuck to his arms really hampers the figure.
Absolutely.
And also throw in, it might have been nice to have a bit more color diversity on him, as he's blue and then dark blue primarily, and then black. I think he needed like an opposing color or something a little bit more to make him pop, I suppose.
Definitely.
And unfortunately, the repaint doesn't really take that into consideration in some aspects. He looks like a more standard crane, mostly. He's yellow and white. The problem is in robot mode, he's just yellow.
Yeah.
Again, kind of boring.
I like the use of hazard stripes. That's quite nice.
Yes, that's fun. I think if he had more black on him and then utilized more hazard stripes, that could work.
You know what I think every time I look at this figure, though? How big a bunch of cowards they were not to try and get around calling him Erector.
Yeah, because that's clearly it looks it. If they'd done that, they should have painted his face red. Don't call him Erector, but paint his face red, and at least you're giving the hint for it at the very least. I think the original version's probably better color scheme wise. Maybe. I don't like
they're
either of
both
them.
kind of, yeah. Neither of them's really setting the world on fire, are they?
No. It almost feels like a coin flip. Like, which one do you like? I don't care.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I just don't care. Neither of them. I don't really like either of them.
Are we thinking he's probably the worst one so far for this size point?
For Voyager,
Yeah.
we had Evac and we had Crumple Zone. Yes, I'm happy to say that easily the worst. He's not a absolutely terrible figure. He's just incredibly hampered. Like, unfortunately so. This one's not much of a winner either. We're talking about Leo Breaker next, or what was he called in Japan? In a silly name. It wasn't Jack Shot. Liga Jack. That's what it was. Liga Jack. So this is a kind of another Jungle Planet half-assed figure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a bit more of a reason why this one's half-assed, as he has a fourth mode of turning into an arm, which in the show looked really cool. In practical transforming toys, did not.
Not so much.
No, I'm pretty sure he had lights and he had electronic sounds as well.
Yeah,
very cool. He was a lion that turned into an arm and into an awkward robot. His robot mode is very awkward. He doesn't have outward shoulder movements. He has a hinge like below the shoulder. He has a hinge so you can swing the arms outward, which always looked really bizarre.
He kind of needs at least one extra joint somewhere in the arms to really make it work, and without that, it's just
it's again a very awkward design. It's very much like Mudflap. There are ideas here, but it's awkward. I don't think they pulled off a very interesting looking robot mode either. No, I just don't like it. The way that it transforms again is not desperately interesting. The lion mode is okay. It's okay looking.
Yeah, I like the lion mode. The lion mode actually has a nice presence to it.
It could have done with some joints in the front legs so they could bend a bit more, as they're very, very straight, very stiff looking. The back legs are fine because they can like chicken leg bend and whatnot. Again, they look a little bit long, but they're not too bad. And the actual sculpt for the lion part is pretty good. That looks nice.
Yeah.
And he's got a big green button on the center of his lion's forehead, which you press, and his little mouth opens, and then sound effects come out, which is like, okay, whatever, it's fine. The Cyberplanet key thing, it's all right. It's fine. You put them in the side of his arms, and he gets Wolverine claws. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not very interesting, but yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the arm mode. What do you think of the arm mode?
It's one of those ones where the theory works better than the actual execution, doesn't it?
Yes. I'll say, I think it looks good above the waist of Liga Jack. Like, if you just look at the shoulder part.
Yeah, it's where you get down into the actual claw section.
Yeah, the quote-unquote hand. And you're like, that's not a hand. It's not a hand at all. It's just a mess. What it doesn't show you on the images is from the side, there's a giant like thigh gap because the legs don't peg together to look like a cohesive arm. So there's just legs. It just looks like two pair of legs dangling down. I do like how the arm connects because you just kind of, because of Optimus Prime's transformation, you swing the arm back. It tucks in underneath the backpack of the back, and it nicely tucks in there, and then the arm just pegs really nicely in.
That was always fun. Yeah.
It's a really nice bit of engineering. And then Liga Jack, and you go, oh well. It's a shame. It's a bit of a shame. He did get redo into Dark Liga Jack or Nemesis Breaker, which it can go on Megatron, and it looks really shit on Megatron.
Yep.
We'll get to talking about Master Megatron soon, but especially compared to how it works combining to Prime. Combining with Prime, there was a really nice, thought out, well done thing here with Megatron. You untransform the arm, stick it upwards, and then untransform a bit of his abdomen section for some reason. And it looks awkward. It doesn't look good. And the color scheme doesn't really match Megatron's either. I think between the two of them, I prefer the Nemesis color scheme because it's like it was the style of the time for Japan to do gray, teal, and black. You know, it's that color scheme, so it does look good.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on it?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I want like Leo Breaker because I like the concept and the actual. If you see drawing illustrations of him, he actually looks really good. But
yeah,
he just
it's about as good as the Legends version of him as well.
Yeah,
and the Legends is not good, but they're about the same quality.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, this was Jackshot's upgrade. And it was not a big upgrade, unfortunately. This is the worst of the Voyagers, easily. Actually, what was the last one we talked about? Because that was pretty bad. That was Mudflap.
Mudflap.
Mudflap. Yeah, this I think. Because his entire thing is to be an arm, and he can't even do that well. Yeah, there are aspects to Mudflap where you're like, if we just took these two lumps off of him, he'd still be a boring color scheme, but at least he'd be a fun robot to transform.
Yeah.
This is just a mess.
It is.
Yeah, so sorry, Leo Breaker. Oh, I threw this in. We probably don't. I think we talked about this, didn't we? Dark Scorponok. We did talk about this in Energon. We definitely did.
Oh, yeah.
We'll skip this. It's the best color scheme for him. It's really good. There you go. We're on to the Ultras now. We're on to Jetfire, who is... This is the best Jetfire of the Unicron trilogy.
Is that damning with faint praise?
Yes. But he is not a bad figure. He does.
He's not. He is quite a lot of fun, to be fair.
He does suffer from the problem of Cybertron, which is, are we going to transform his head? No. It's kind of fine where it is. They do instead of just like pushing it down, you flip it forward and slightly cover it, but not really cover it. I don't know why they didn't make that piece. Just an entire cover. Just to cover his entire head. That would have been better. Probably because then what would they have done for when the head was out? But, you know, whatever.
I mean, at least they got some detailing in front of the head that kind of...
Yeah, that's the flap. It's a little flap.
Yeah.
I just wish it did a bit more. So in terms of things, this has electronic sounds, not just sounds. Electronic sounds are important. Pop-out missile pods, spring-loaded missile launchers, a cyberplanet key, which reveals the cannon, and vehicle mode. I don't think I ever used the sound effects on any of these things. But no, I think there were lights as well, because when you do the cyberplanet key, you flip up the entire back fin.
Yeah, the guns in the back light up.
Yeah, it lifts up a thing and the guns push outwards, so it's a little bit of a mechanical thing. And like you said, lights and sounds. You can't really do it in jet mode. It looks fucking bizarre in jet mode to do it. But I think as jet mode is a really nice kind of big jumbo jet military kind of craft.
It's a nice big old military transport plane, which I like seeing those in Transformers, to be fair.
Again, you don't see a lot of them because they're not fast and dynamic. You know, so this is quite good, especially at this scale as well as a Voyager. And the robot mode is again pretty good. I like the fact that you get the green things on the side of his waist that pop out, and you push them back in and they click into position. I think that automorphs when you flip the front nose cone down and you lock it into place, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the hands are revealed. No, yeah, the hands are revealed when you bend the elbows, right?
Yeah, because
then the hands pop out.
The way that the two engines form the arm is kind of fun. I mean, the biggest knock against the robot mode is the fact that the wings don't fold away anywhere.
No.
If there was just a hinge or something by the shoulders, it could fold down. It gives
a profile.
It does, but it makes it a soft to put on the shelf.
Yeah, if you want to do that, you have to then use the shoulder joint, which is a very thin metal pin. And you got to just kind of awkwardly push the shoulders really far up. That's the only way you kind of get around that, unfortunately. I think the transformation for this, though, is pretty good.
Yes, it's got a lot of clicky joints to it. It's very satisfying to transform him.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed it.
Decent look. I'm not a big fan of the color scheme.
No, but the color scheme was probably the biggest departure for this version of the character from the previous versions of him.
They went for military green and then this big silver stripe on the top of his jet. And I don't think that works desperately well for contrasting each other. It's not bad, but it doesn't do a lot for me, unfortunately. In terms of redos, the other version I would say is a lot better, which is Sky Shadow, which is one I wouldn't
Sky
mind.
Shadow, I have Sky Shadow. It's a very nice color scheme. To be fair.
I wouldn't be against getting Sky Shadow because it's got like stupid amounts of extra color on it to make it pop. Like I love what they did with the nose cone. They added like this random gray pattern to it that had way more detail. And then on the sides of his engines, he's got like, actually all over, just extra bits of gold detail all over him.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra gone into this guy.
Yeah, this guy's extra on another level. This is the version you get. And then you get the movie version from 2008. What's the color scheme on this one, Big D?
It's white.
He's very white.
And grey. Yeah.
Very white, very grey, and then very small bits of red, very small bits of purple. But he's mostly white. He's incredibly boring. It feels like they went, shall we paint the figure? And someone went in the factory. Oh, no. We're not doing that. Not today.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Sky Shadow is so good. It is disgustingly good compared to the rest of them. Easily the best. I'm sad I haven't got this. I might have to look online because I'm pretty sure I got rid of my OG Jetfire because it was the Galaxy Force one, so I sold it for money, as it were. I'm guessing no one would want this, but maybe because no one wanted this, it'll make it rare. Let's make it harder to get. Because sometimes that happens too, right?
Why do I keep thinking I have two of that?
Why would you have two of these?
I think I had a thing where the first one I bought was missing a missile launcher, so I bought a second one.
Oh my god.
It was when they were cheap on eBay, so...
Oh, fair enough, okay. I thought you were paying full price for them, you meant.
No, God, no.
Oh, that's fine then.
The first one I bought from a boot sale as part of a lot, and then the second one I think I bought a second one for the missile launcher, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a great figure. This is a nice step up from Leo Breaker that we were just talking about. So yes, very good figure. Sky Shadow, easily the best. Strange that there's only 3 repaints though. I thought they would have done a few more, to be honest.
Very surprising.
Yeah. Next up, we have a figure that I always wanted, but for some reason they never did in Japan either. They didn't do. They did Megalo Convoy, and that was the only one they did from Giant Planet. They never did Menasor, and they never did the cement truck dude, whatever his fucking name was. And it's a shame because I liked Menasor's design. I don't know why they called him Menasor, but that's neither here nor
that
there.
always threw me. But he has a nice, quite chunky look to him. I dig it.
He's got lights and sounds, power links activated, spring-loaded gripping claw. That's something you can get on a condom, I'm sure. Drill spins when rolled in vehicle mode, hopefully. And the key reveals a drill as well. The thing I like most about this is the head design. It's very Gundam-y, I think. I think I'm okay with saying it's a Gundam-esque head design.
There's a lot of Xeon to that head design.
Yes.
Latterphase Xeon.
Yes, 100%.
Neo Xeon especially. Yeah.
I like how big and stupid his arms are. Like his life's awful.
It's so silly.
Like he's got a terrible life. What do you do if you need to pick something up? Oh, I know. I'll pick them up with my flip-out chainsaws. That'll be easy. I've got to wipe my bottom. What does he do? What is his life? His life is just drilling, and then chainsawing stuff. He's got a really good silhouette as well. The color scheme's not bad on him. The vehicle mode is incomprehensible.
Yes.
What is it?
It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle mode because they've told us it is. and we have to believe them.
I'm trying to think. It's like an H tank, but instead of like having a turret on each of the treads on the front, the H part of the treads, they went, what if we put a drill on the front of this? You mean in the center? No, on the sides of each of the treads.
Yeah.
It almost looks like something you'd have like an icebreaker boat, just because of how big the front of that like middle part is. But it's I don't know. Oh, I know what this is. This is a GoBot vehicle design. You know, like Scorp and Vamp and Jeep, not Jeep Creeper. There was another one that looked really bizarre where you looked at it and went, "What the fuck is that?" It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he does a lot of transforming. It looks like he mostly stands up. But I'll be honest, I think this looks really fucking cool.
He does.
Does he come with a mini con?
He does. Heavy load, I believe.
Oh, okay. All
so
right.
He's a little. Yeah, he's a little scoop truck.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. He's got a worker mode as well. Is that a real mode?
Yeah, they did. They did the same thing with Metroplex, where it's a worker mode. Basically, they go into a squat.
It looks like, literally, if this is a mode, it looks like this is I need to poo mode.
Mm-hmm.
I've dug a hole in the woods. I'm gonna take a poo now. I mean, good for you. I think this is pretty good, to be honest. I never got a repaint though. It's the one and only. I think this looks neat.
He does. I know he was a bit of a pain to get hold of because I don't think I ever saw him on a shelf.
Here, no, in the UK, I don't think we got him. I don't think we did. I think he must have been latter wave of like Cybertron, which is probably why he's maybe didn't come here.
And I very rarely see him show up on eBay or anything like that.
Oh, really? So. I was going to have a look tonight.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
A few times I have a standing search for Cybertron in my eBay saves, and I'm pretty sure I've never seen him show up more than maybe a handful of times.
Oh, wow.
Since I started that search. So.
That's a shame. So not an easy one to get, oddly enough. I don't know. Well, neither of us can really judge how he is because neither of us have him, right? So I think he looks cool.
He does.
I don't think he'd be as good as Jetfire. I'm gonna say he's probably not as good as Jetfire. He's probably more gimmicky.
Yes, I'd probably say he's probably a better robot, but as an all-round figure, Jetfire probably takes it.
Yeah, probably. But this is guessing since neither of us have him.
Yes, very much so.
Neat though. Well, to the last two finally. Yay. We have Metroplex, or Megalo Convoy is called in Japan. I think pretty much the only Galaxy Force figure I didn't pick up because he was expensive and I thought he looked,
ridiculous.
A tad. I don't know why they've gone. That's the squat mode is the worker mode. Why is it lying here? The tall mode is not the worker mode. The tall mode is his actual mode. I was never a big fan of how this guy looked. He looked strange. He looked really long, like thin.
Yeah, they haven't even given him his worker mode mask either.
Oh yeah, you meant to fold up the little things on the side of his face, right?
Yeah.
It's odd. Oh well.
Weird.
I'll say this: the worker mode is better than Manosaur's worker mode because it looks a little different when it's transformed correctly.
Yeah,
a little. Yeah. Have you ever had Megalo Convoy, Metroplex?
I haven't.
Okay. You haven't got the Legacy one.
No, the Legacy one came out when I really couldn't afford the Titans. To be fair, and I would like to pick him up at some point if I can.
Isn't it too late?
Kind of low down my priority. He still shows up fairly regularly on secondary sales.
Okay.
I think he had at least one reprint as well, even after he sold for dirt cheap at various points. So
fair enough. Yeah.
So he does show up.
What do you think of him in terms of designs, or at least this one in terms of designs? Because I think he looks a bit weird looking. I do like his excavator axe. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like the powered shovel mode for the robot. That's actually quite fun. He looks like a nice, big, brutal piece of heavy machinery.
Mm-hmm.
And those bits of kit are. In fact, for real world ones, the buckets are even bigger than that wheel he's got on.
Oh yeah, they're huge. Like the real world ones are massive.
Yeah.
They're like scary to see.
I mean, the main rock mode is very lanky and a bit out of proportion with the legs compared to the arms.
Yeah.
So, but I kind of like the idea that he squats down for his worker mode, and all that length becomes like a bit more bulky. I like the gimmick behind that, even if the execution's not 100%. So, and I say, hearing him called Megalo Convoy makes a lot more sense than Metroplex.
Yeah, I think that in America they just went, oh well, you know.
Yeah, it was trademarked, keeping the trademark alive. So I get that.
It'll be the same for why that one was called Menacer, I'm sure, as well, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's another case of good effort, execution is a bit lacking. But I think I might, as a leader, I might prefer him to Prime.
Oh, really? Why? I think Prime's a lot better looking, and does a lot more.
Maybe, but I think Metroplex is just, they've tried something a bit more different with him compared to Prime.
See, my reasoning for why Prime is better is his vehicle mode is more comprehensive as like what it is.
Yeah.
He has a pretty okay like standard like robot mode. It was, as we discussed, probably the best of the three Optimus Primes in the Unicron trilogy. And then I find his combination mode to super mode to be really fun and interesting. And granted, very kind of Power Rangers-y, but I like that. While Megalo Convoy has the shortbot mode, which is kind of cute. And then you have the excavator, which is just not very good. I think it's a bit of just a square box. Like Metasaurus was a mess, but it looked at least a bit more interesting than this. He just looks like Metroplex Megalo Convoy just kind of fell over and went to sleep and balanced his weapon on top of his head. And then his robot mode, as mentioned, to me looks a bit on the lanky side and a bit strange visually. And for some reason, the Japanese version came with a Legends Optimus Prime as well.
Oh, that's different.
I don't know why. It's just an extra bonus they had for it.
Yeah. Well, you've pushed me back to thinking Prime's better, so well done.
I think it'd be a bit harder for Megatron, but we'll talk about Megatron in a bit. Exelhead says, my local shop has Legacy Metroplex for sale. Well, I mean, if it's cheap, why not? You could sell it for more later on, potentially.
Yeah.
Megalo Convoy never got a repaint. Just got redone many years later. How many years later? 18 years later, something like that. Not 20 at least. But no, it was a couple of years ago. So maybe like more 15 to 17 years later, you got a new toy finally. And the last figure, we've got Master Megatron, as he was called, or just Megatron as the Americans called him. Though I liked him being called Master Megatron. It's also known as the Batmobile Megatron, as he turned into a very fucking weird car, which, granted, pretty cool. And also transformed into a really shitty jet. Really
so apart from, of course, the Megatrons of that period.
Yeah, Megatron's never been a decent jet.
No.
Oh, very rarely. I can't think of a good jet Megatron. But I do like the car mode, even though it is fucking bizarre. Mainly because it just does look like a Batmobile. Megatron has gone.
I was going to say, that car mode is basically, you've gone to a dragster designer and given him all the drugs and told him design something. I'm
trying to think what Batmobile does this most look like. Because it's not Batman and Robin or Batman Forever.
The Burton 89 one? More than anything?
Yeah, I think that's probably...
Even though that's more of a single vein, where this has got two, like almost a triple vein thing going on, so...
It's closer to that, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, is it like Burton 86? 86? Is it 86?
89.
89, yeah, I think that's probably the closest... But it does look like that. Oh, thank you for the follow.
You're just in time.
Thank you for the follow. It's your mother. It's my mother. Yeah, this is a good. Well, I think this is a good vehicle mode because it's weird. The Cyberplanet key function is
very weird.
I think the Cyberplanet key function's a bit shit. You put the key into the center of his back, and the engines kind of just jut out slightly. I think there's a slight whirl, like there's a mechanic in them where the inner details kind of spin around a little bit, but it's very inconsequential. You don't really notice it that well. It's just like yeah. And I think you get some sounds when doing it. I never put batteries in mine, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, this is okay. Robot mode. I visually I like. I don't like the giant I don't know, pointy wedges of cheese on his back. I don't know how else to describe them. They're a bit awkward. He's got some good grandma slippers on, which I like. I like his big grandma slippers. His big his big calf muscles as well are quite good in the hand. I'm not a big fan of the color scheme, which we will fix in a moment when we talk about Master Galvatron. But what do you think, Big D? What do you think of it?
Part of me can't help but think that he's wearing parachute pants.
That's why they're so big on the outside of his calf muscle. I can see that. That's an interesting way.
It's a look. I mean, it's not a look.
It's a look.
It's not a look that you'd ever associate with Megatron.
No,
especially in the color separation. I mean,
yeah, it's your mother just mentioned. I like the color scheme. I think the color scheme's interesting, but like you, Big D, like what do we have? We have black, orange. I'm going from the bottom. Black, orange, teal, green, purple, silver. What color would you say his thighs are? Like
that's a purplish tinted silver.
Yes, purplish tinted silver. Gray on the chest, because I didn't mention gray. No, because gray and silver are different. Black's there as well. Translucent plastic for the eyes, which are kind of slightly blue. Red.
Yeah.
We've got like I said orange. Yeah, we've got 10 colors. Oh, 11 because the slices of cheese wedges and his groin are like a beigey white color. So that's 11 colors.
He's a complicated man.
It makes him striking.
Yes.
Compared to the Megatrons. When you see this color scheme, you go, yes. Cybertron, Galaxy Force. You don't think G1. Definitely.
That is very true. You will never mistake him for another Megatron.
No. Oh, a point I'll pull up that you mentioned earlier when we were talking about Landmine. You said that Cybertron had a very distinct helmet kind of cheek design. Megatron's rocking that. Kind of the cheeks, the big things around the side of the cheeks. He's rocking that pretty hard. That's not what I wanted. Clicked off that. That's what I wanted. Oh, I clicked onto a page where I get my where I got my free gifts from. So if you want my free gifts, go over to because I clicked off, so I may as well plug it now. Go over to small O, big O, capital M. Because I'm not going to read this properly. IEKUNOO. Maycoon. And they've got all the free gifts, which you should go and grab. So sorry.
Cool.
Didn't mean to click on that by accident, but I did. So yeah. Also, in terms of Cyberplanet key stuff, the slices of cheese on the side are both for Cyberplanet keys. When you put one into one, you get it says a blade, but it is, again, like the side of Batman's gloves. You know, it's got the blades on the side of Batman's gloves. It's that. It's, again, very Batman. And then on the other side, you pop up a wheel, pop that out, and then flip the wheel around, and it's a little mini Gatling gun. And it's good because it's got a little crank on it, which spins the wheel, so you can go rat-a-tat-a-tat.
Nifty.
That's kind of fun. The blade also has a gimmick. It's not a huge gimmick, but as it pops out, the way that it pegs in, the peg's on a slight slider. So as it pops out, it slides out and the blades unfold. So you have to fold the blades back in to put it into the car mode, which is why the car mode has the kind of more smooth look to it. So it's quite neat. Those are the good Cyberplanet key functions. The engine on the back, not so much. Have you had this before, Big D, or not?
I've not. I did see him on the shelves a few times, but he never really struck me as one I wanted.
What put you off him?
I think just because he was so different to previous Megatrons.
Yeah,
he didn't feel very Megatron to me, you know.
Yeah. I think that's a benefit in some ways, but I can see why that would, put you specifically off, or people in general could put people off. It's Your Mother says all the G1 and Bay designs are so bland. It's so boring. We need more wild color schemes back. I'm already pleasantly pleased that at least some G2 and comic characters get figures nowadays. Same by Hasbro, Takara, and third parties. That blade looks like the Minecraft version of a blue Halo Needler.
Yeah,
that's an interesting. That's an interesting way to think of it. Yeah, that's not untrue. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. So this Megatron, I don't think he's as good as Prime, and clearly he doesn't do the Leo Breaker arm thing nearly as well because this is fucking terrible.
I tell you what, I would love to see Hasbro give him another spin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't think they'd need to do an entirely separate mold.
He'd have to be a completely new mold to do him. But I would love to see him take a stab at it.
We say that, but they did when they did Galaxy Force Prime, they did kind of half-arse it. But they are doing a new one, right? I think they're doing a new Galaxy Force Prime, Cybertron Prime. I think that might have been the thing. I can't remember. I think they should do a new. I think they should do a new one as a commander because he'd be able to do that properly. But whether they will, they won't. I don't know. This figure did get redone, obviously, into one other color scheme, into Master Galvatron, where the color scheme became much more cohesive. He became black, red, and silver, and then a small amount of purple.
See, that does a lot for it's much more cohesive. Oddly, I do kind of miss the flamboyance of the previous one.
Yes.
But I think I do prefer this just for its overall cohesiveness.
Yes, I think it does. I think for the robot mode, the Master Galvatron is better. For the car mode, because the car mode's so fucking weird and colorful, I think normal Megatron, Master Megatron looks better because it's such a bizarre looking car mode that the extra color makes it pop. But I think overall, if you want something that looks nicer on the shelf, more cohesive, this is the one you go for. If you want something weird and kooky that looks, you look at it and you go, that's different. This is the one you go for.
Yeah.
11 colors. No one in their right mind as a designer goes, yes, we need 11 different colors on this motherfucking figure. No one. That's another thing that you should be concerned about a new version of him. They're not going to do 11 colors. Ain't no way they're going to slap 11 colors on him. I was going to say,
could you imagine that from trying to get the original version of Cybertron Megatron past Hasbro XX?
Yeah. I'm trying to think what they'd change. I don't think he'd have the teal. I think you'd have bits of teal painted on, but I don't think he'd have nearly as much. I don't think he'd have it around the wrists. I don't think he'd have the teal on the joints for the elbow joints. I don't think the joint on the heel. I don't think that would be teal either. I think they'd cut it down to the teal would be on the stripes on his chest and the bits of detailing on his head and maybe the bit on his the thing on his shin. I think that's all they do.
You know what? I think what they'd do is they'd make Cybertron Galvatron the mainline release and then make Cybertron Megatron the Pulse exclusive. With all the pain and charge you extra for it.
I think that would be funny. I don't know if they do that. I don't know because I think that because this one is the more cohesive one, and I think a lot more people prefer the Master Galvatron. I have no evidence to back that up. I think this one might be easier to pawn off on people or as like a pay extra for it kind of thing. But I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Axel Hedge says, where is our Legacy / Age of the Prime Megatron, Hasbro? Yeah. You cheeky fuckers. And It's Your Mother says, he looks boring in this color scheme. Well, clearly you want the more interesting, bizarre, weird one. I think, though, as a color scheme, this one looks objectively better. And a lot more people would probably like it. But if you want something kooky, you definitely go for... You definitely go for the Master Megatron because it's so fucking weird.
If this one had been released first, I think this one probably would have sold a lot better.
Which one? The Master Galvatron?
Yeah. Whereas the Meg's standard one, if that had been like the powered up version.
This was the powered up version? The weird kooky color scheme one? Oh my god.
Yeah, you go from the kind of the very solid regal version, and then he gets a shit kicked out of him and comes back in his Joker face.
He loses his fucking mind and he gets all of the colors.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. The only thing I really wish for Master Megatron is I wish he had, like Prime, some good kind of combination. He needed a guy like Sonic Bomber. Right? Prime Sonic Bomber mode is way better than Leo Breaker. Leo Breaker, as we said earlier in the show, is fucking shite. Master Galvatron needed something akin to that. He only got the Leo Breaker, and that was it. It's like, eh.
Well, he can integrate with the Armada tidal wave, if I remember right, but they
Master
never
Galvatron.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
The description mentioned he could integrate with it, but
how does he integrate with
sure
can combine with Armada tidal wave and all subsequent versions of the mold. Okay, person that wrote this article in TFU, pictures. Yeah. Hang on. I'm going to turn off the website and I'm going to put that into Google quickly because I think that's a fucking lie. I don't know how it would do it. Master Megatron and tidal wave. That should do it. In the franchise tidal wave, I think it's just going to show me Armada Megatron. Yeah, it just shows me Armada Megatron.
Fair enough. Someone didn't do their research, man, on that end.
Someone was fucking smoking.
On the website.
I was like, there's no way. There's literally no way for him to combine with it. Oh, wait, no. Oh my god, this is such bullshit. Hang on. I'll pull it up on stream. This is such bullshit. Technically, he can. I'm wrong. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Oh, you can combine with tidal wave. What do you think of that, Big D? Do you think it looks cool?
Hang on, I'm waiting for the YouTube to catch up.
Yeah, don't worry. Alright, you can do it. Fuck me. So, for those
my god.
Yeah, for those not watching, what you can do is with Tidal Wave's arms, only Tidal Wave's arms, you can stick them into the ports on the side of Megatron's arms. So Megatron loses arms to get Tidal Wave's arms. Okay, yep, it works.
That is terrible.
It works, I guess. And it shows that Tidal Wave can have Leo Breaker on his arm, but again, that doesn't help because Leo Breaker's fucking shit. There you go. Okay, I was wrong. I'm happy to admit that because I was like, you are lying because I was thinking of the waist part, for the backpack.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way that can. I was like, there's no way you could have the mid torso section that would clip around Megatron's arm. I was like, where are you going to do that? You can't do shit with that either. It's like, no, you can't. There you go. There you go. Right. Well, Big D, after nearly 3 hours, probably 6 if we include the first part, 6 hours.
Yep.
We have done Cybertron. Oh, no, I lie. We did miss one figure. We missed the upgraded scattershot.
Oh.
And that's arguably one of the best figures.
It is.
We'll do Scattershot. Scattershot.
All right.
A massive improvement over his basic version. Massive.
Absolutely.
Turns into a really cool SAM missile launcher thing. It does have a giant hole in it, though, and the hands are very visible, which is a bit of a downside.
I do like how the missile can actually properly rotate, though.
Yes.
That's quite nice.
They can move up, and like you say, they can rotate, which you wouldn't expect. Cyber Planet Key, you pop them into the missile launchers for the robot mode, and one gets a new missile launcher with a targeting sight, which he can't actually use because it's away from his head. Wait, it's there.
Yeah.
And then he gets another giant cannon. These are also usable in the other mode, and he also, because he doesn't have enough guns, he just gets another standard gun. Because why not?
And he has had 3 banging repaints?
Yeah, generally speaking.
Because they did a repaint as the Micromaster Flak, the Botcon Wings of Valor.
Yes, which isn't
And
bad.
then
It's probably the
and
most
then he was
boring.
giv-
It's got
Yep,
winter tiger stripes on it.
and then he was done as an Autobot and Decepticon in Universe.
Yep.
Was it Universe?
Yeah, but it says both universe here, so
Yeah,
probably.
Overload and Drop Shot, and they are both quite lovely repaints.
Yeah, I don't like Overload as much. I think there's a bit too just standard green on him. I would have liked they've got like a lighter lime green urban camo on him. I kind of wish that was a bit more on him. It's kind of like the half-assed it a little bit, especially compared to like Flax Tiger Stripes. Arctic camo Tiger Stripes.
I mean, they've gone from a digital camo on Overload, but they could have done a bit more on him.
That's why I think was the problem. He needed more of it. And Drop Shot's more of your standard kind of look. You know, he's okay. But compared to the other two, there's not the kind of, maybe he needed like a desert camo on him or something like that. Because in vehicle mode, it looks like he's missing. Which one's your preferred one though, Big D?
Probably Drop Shot. To be fair, it helps that he had a really awesome cameo in All Hail Megatron.
Fuck, you remember All Hail Megatron? Bruh.
Yep.
Good lord, I remember nothing about from hating All Hail Megatron.
Yeah, he shows up in one of the early scenes.
Oh my god!
At a human base, and they realise that he's been in their base the entire time and transforms and blows the whole base up. It's great.
I think I might like Flak the most. The new head helps. Obviously, it's a bit easy to say, but I like how hard they went with the camo. It's all over him.
I was going to say the fact that Flak's camo is everywhere.
Yeah,
is real nice.
It's even on the inner side of his robot legs as well, and they don't really carry that over on the other ones. Don't get me wrong. Scattershot himself, very good. I mean, the mold's just great, very posable, loaded with weapons.
It's a great. You can tell that it's for an upgrade to the older character,
and it's so playable for a kid.
Oh yeah, and I think it is actually really articulated quite well.
Yeah. It might. Is it the best Voyager of the line?
I think it might be.
I'm happy to say that it is the best Voyager of the line. Just because of the amount of features it has. It's a stupidly fun vehicle. It looks cool. And like you said, it's really posable as well.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I'm happy to say that.
And despite all that mass on the arms, it's really posable. It's stable.
Yeah, because he's got really big feet. He's got big front parts of his feet. Then he's got a big heel spur as well, so he ain't falling over. Unless you do silly poses with him. Solid. Really good. And thankfully, Big D, I can say it's over. We did it.
Hurrah.
I don't have a cheer button. That's weird. I'll press wow. There we go. We're done. Woo! It only took us 3 hours. 6 hours if you include part one. Where can people find you on the internet, Big D?
Sleeping, hopefully, after this. No, I'm everywhere on all the socials as David Kelly. Look for this lovely mug or a picture of cup, and that'll probably be me. I post my witterings and my kit bashes and gunpla builds and whatever else is taking my fancy. And I am also... I do Fluff and Busters with Mr. White, where I think the next one that should be out is our episode on the Warriors, but we've got all of Lord of the Rings in the can as well. So that's waiting on Mr. Gruff to get them out, but give a nice bit of content to work with. And otherwise, I contribute to UKAnime.net. My review of Lord of the Rings War for a Hero went up this week.
Did it go good?
I actually quite enjoyed it, to be fair. I appreciated it for what it was. So.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, you can find me on the Moonbase 2 forums on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. We're also, I'm also Decayed Andy on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all those kind of places where we stream, all that jazz, stream video games. This is the last Moonbase 2 of the year, so enjoy Dancing Ravage as he dances behind Big D kind of menacingly. We will be back next year, the first week of next year, to talk about the news. Not that I expect a huge amount of stuff to have happened between now and then, but there might be a little bit. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a very good Christmas. Happy New Year, and I hope you have it too, Big D.
Thank you, man. Same to yourself. Have a good one, folks.
Yeah, I see Excel Head says Optimus. Optimus says, a tank? Are you trying to draw attention to us? Scattershot. Yeah, because a flying truck with a giant cannons bleeds right in. Very true. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next year. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.